Hello, everybody. It's me. It's Andy, Decayed Andy here. We're in the pre-show for Moon Poopin' 2. It's the week of TFcon Orlando. I've decided that young Big D will be here this week. Hello, Big D. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of third-party goo and stuff to talk about this week. But you know, before we get into said goo, how's your week been, Big D? Has it been okay?
It's been all right. Had a bit of a wobble with my arm health-wise, but it's not been too bad otherwise, in all fairness.
You've been arm wrestling velociraptors and tigers, as usual.
Yeah, it's generally get a good workout, you know?
It's true. It'll get you there. It'll get you there. A bit of a strain on the old joints, but, you know, it's a workout nonetheless.
Yeah, sadly, as the years are racking up on this poor old frame of mine, so...
Well, just stop wrestling with tigers and velociraptors. It'll help, I promise you. Or is that the challenge? Is that why you go for it? Because it's an effort?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. All right. If I play a stream sound effect, will you hear it? Okay, let me play a stream sound effect, and you can tell me if you hear it.
I hate them, Gregory.
Can you hear that?
I hate them
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, that's fine. I was playing I hate them, Gregory. I hate them all. I wondered if it would come through your side, but they don't. Okay, so the only stream of sound effects I can get are like. Does this work? It does. Oh, this comes through on the Twitch.
It's funny you mentioned a particular sound clip though, because I think it was you guys on you and Andy and Adam on the Fluff and Hammer last week. We're talking. You mentioned Samsung has a Transformers channel.
Did we?
It might have not been you guys, but yeah, Samsung. If you have a Samsung Smart TV, as part of it, you get like their Samsung Plus free TV channels.
All right.
And one of them, and I have it up now, is nothing but G1 Transformers cartoons.
Huh. Yeah, that's definitely not us. I didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Channel is it? 4608, if anyone wants to.
There can't be much content to that then, because like there's only so many episodes of G1. Like, what is it? Just G1 that they play? Or do they play like?
Well, so far I've seen. Yesterday they seem to be doing just a day of Return of Optimus Prime and the Rebirth.
So they just play that the entire day.
I can't swear to that because I did kind of dip in and out throughout the day.
Sure.
And then this morning they had an episode from I think season 1 of G1.
Because that's if it's just G1, that's not gonna last you more than a day. If you're going through the entire series, that'll last you a day, and that's it.
But it's just on a repeat.
Yeah,
that's all it shows. Nothing but Transformers.
That's crazy.
But the really weird thing is that they're edited.
What do you mean they're edited?
Well, when I was younger, I only had two. Well, other than the movie, I only had 2 Transformers tapes.
Oh yes.
I had Arrival from Cybertron. And I had the one with the Headmasters and Return of Optimus Prime.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I watched the shizzle out of those 2 tapes.
Yeah.
So I know those, 8 episodes very, very well.
Mm.
And there are bits from Return of Optimus Prime I know were missing.
So what did they cut?
It was weird. They cut stuff like Skylink's been infected by Rodimus when he and Prime are fighting. And when the infected Decepticons catch up to Prime's team.
In the junkyard.
When they're trying to get the metal. When they're trying to get to the metal later on with Galvatron.
Right.
So suddenly Cyclonus appears randomly. They've not done the bit beforehand to explain it. And it's just like, I know there's stuff missing from this. I know there is. But
yeah, they're not. It's not like it's overly violent, because I mean the 80s were pretty lax when it for kids cartoons was pretty lax for kind of anything too extreme for the most part. Especially with that kind of era of cartoon as well. It's not like, you know, Batman the animated series, which could get a little bit more like, oh, is this okay for kids? ? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
not Transformers though. That's weird. Huh.
And I think, they're currently showing More Than Meets the Eye Part 1.
Wow.
Because there's Wheeljack and B.
I
with
mean,
their funky rods.
it sounds like the isn't there like a Hasbro YouTube channel that just plays Hasbro Transformer episodes on repeat? Or there was. I think there's still that channel.
Yeah,
up there.
they do still do that.
That
Hasbro channel is very weird for how they do this.
yeah, that at least that makes sense. Like, because it's a YouTube channel, it's not on TV. So I imagine you don't need to pay quite as much for that kind of, promotion stuff like that, or just advertisement, because it's YouTube, so who cares? Well, unlike a TV station,
it's just very weird that there's a channel in the UK that's just shown nothing but Transformers 24/7.
Well, G1, that's it. Only G1, no Beast
I would
Wars,
love
no
it
Beast
if
Machines.
they showed the rest. So G2, Beast Wars, Beast Machines, RID, Armada. Hell, if they threw in the Takara stuff,
They never would
make my day.
They never would.
But,
because it would have to be subtitled, or it would be the star dub. It's like, well, which would you prefer? Because they're not going to put on subs for kids, because I don't believe, because it's kids. They'll be like, kids are dumb. Kids can't read. Which, to be fair, if they were doing it for me as a kid, I wouldn't have been able to keep up with that, because I refuse to read. But put it for me. Because didn't Shout Factory put out... No, there was a fan sub, wasn't there, of Beast Machine's second? Sorry, Beast Wars second. Yeah, there was. I remember Mikey talking about it a few years ago or something like that. So
I know there were some fan dub episodes of Beast Wars Neo and Beast Wars 2.
They were bad.
Yeah. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was fan sub titles out there, because that's how it got started, really.
Yeah, there's never been official ones. I'm surprised like Shout Factory's never made an official one, just because they've got like they did. Well, Shout Factory and who was that over here? Metrodome did the Takara series.
And Shout did the frankly superb DVDs of Beast Wars. Yeah, because they're the versions I picked up in the end, because I didn't. The British versions were just terrible.
Oh, I missed out. I had the Rhino versions, which were
The Shout Factory ones are lovely because they got loads of extra content. I think there's some commentaries, and they have interviews with David Kay and Scott McNeil and the like.
Yeah, they're out of print though. They've been out of print for a while.
Yeah,
which is annoying.
Well, I got in when they first came out, so I got lucky on that score.
See, I remember
shipping was a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Years ago, when Prime came out on Blu-ray, America's the only country that had the only like English-speaking country that has the Blu-rays, and it's region locked. And I was like, oh, isn't that annoying?
Yeah, that sucks.
But you know what's weird? The movie of Prime isn't region locked. Beast Hunters, that's not region locked, but all of the season 1, 2, and 3 are. So I have bizarre. Beast Hunters, but not the rest. The rest of them I have through other means. Let's say.
That's just weird.
It is. I don't like them.
But then Hasbro, let's be honest, they've always been a little bit weird with how they release these things.
Well, no, that's more UK malarkey than anything else. Yeah. That's not up to Hasbro to release stuff in the UK. It's up to, I guess, whoever wants to be a distributor in the UK to pick up those titles and do it that way.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. But at least they exist somewhere, so if you have the means, you can find a way to pick them up.
Yeah. But you can't watch them unless you've got a hooky player, which I've been tempted by a few times. Blu-ray player, I mean.
I think my Blu-ray player might be multi-region. I can't swear to that. I know my DVD player is.
It's always like when you look online, because I've looked online for like years, there are ones that are region cracked. But it's not like back in the day when you could just go into Asda and pick up a really like a 60 quid DVD player and just type in the code, and it was just unlocked at that point. It's not like that anymore. It's poopy.
Oh, I just remember because my first DVD player was one of the really big chunky ones. So I got it as a 21st birthday present.
Ooh.
And that you needed a code to make it multi-region, and then another code so you'd watch British stuff, which was hilarious to fiddle around with. My second one was, I got it off Amazon actually. It came region free.
Yeah.
Because they kind of cracked it for you. And my Blu-ray player I just got from back in the day. I bought that from Tesco. of all things. A Sony for like 60 quid.
60 quid, 60 beans.
Yeah.
Damn.
Still does the job.
Oh, I mean, if it works, it works. Go for it. Should we start the actual podcast proper?
Oh, let's do it.
All right. Let me get El Muzak. I'll hit that button and we can start pooping. Here we go, chat. Music time.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decade Andy, and we are here this week to talk about the things that transform. I'm not alone this week. A man who also transforms frequently is a man known as Big D. Hello, Big D.
You, Andy. How you doing, mate?
The same as usual. Moist and sticky.
Welcome to 2020's England.
Exactly. Oh, wait, it's that time of year, isn't it? We're moving on to Halloween. It's actually really close to Halloween. How close are we to Halloween? Not next week, but the week after. Ooh, yeah. Halloweeny time.
Week Tuesday.
That is the streaming day for me. I will be streaming on Halloween. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to this year. Well, if it coincided with my my streaming days and up, but it will, huh? What do you know?
Would you have something suitably dark and spooky to titillate us all with?
Well, it's not spoopy, but it's Stubbs the Zombie for the Xbox, if you remember that.
I remember the name. I've never actually played it.
Yeah, I remember I was pretty stoked to get it. It was the last day of high school. We all went to the pub. We went to the pub, and well, my mates went down. I was like, I guess I should go. And all the time I was there because I didn't drink, still don't, because I think it tastes like shit. I was there going, man, I can't wait to get back home and play Stubbs the Zombie. Stuck here with these fucking losers, and they're drinking, and I just want to play Stubbs the Zombie and eat people alive as you do. And to be fair, once I got home and started playing it, I was like, this is way better than being at the pub.
Can't argue that, really.
One of the big selling points of that game, it has a little sticker on the box that says, uses the same engine as Halo 1. I was like, ooh, wow. What a selling point.
I mean, Halo 1 did look great at the time.
Yeah.
It still holds up not badly.
I mean, it's you know, like, this wasn't, Stubbs the Zombie, when I got it, wasn't a brand new game, I don't think, because I got it from Blockbusters. But it's like, it was fun. It's a unique game as you play as the zombie and you make a horde of other zombies and you kind of control them. Think of it a bit like, did you ever play Overlord?
I didn't, but I know for what you mean.
Yeah.
I was going to say that seems there was a bit of a theme in the mid-2000s where that sort of game was quite, not popular, but there was a run on them where you just played the, quotation marks, bad guy building up your horde.
Yeah, it was kind of, I guess it was the third-person action RTS idea that they were going for, but they were trying to implement it on consoles, which never super works desperately well. Let's be honest, even today, RTSs are better on PC, undisputed. I don't think there are any exceptions. It was fun.
I mean,
I'm gonna enjoy
Halo
playing
Wars
it.
was designed for consoles, so
and it still wasn't good.
Badly.
No, it still was bad. It still would have been better on PC.
Yeah.
It's just there is no argument.
Battle of Middle Earth 2?
Yeah, it would have been better on PC.
Well, they are better on PC.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, you can say it's the best you can say with those games are they're competent. They're not fun, but they're competent. You can play them on a console, but in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I should just play it on PC because it's easy with the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Do you want to play a fighting game with one hand? Not really. You can, but you don't want to.
Yeah.
It'll cause you issues. I don't know. But we're here this week to talk about Transformers. TFcon happened.
Yay.
We're going to get to TFcon. Big D hasn't talked about any of the items. I obviously have talked about some of them. Some of them are new images, some of them aren't, but we'll get to that in time. Don't you worry. First, we're going to be starting off as get it on screen. Not that button. Which button? That button. There we go. We're going to be starting it off with the Transformers MDLX Megatron Comic Book Edition by 3-0. So this is going to be an 18 centimeter tall posable action figure, which does not transform, coming out on the fourth quarter of this year. So soon? I'm never quite sure on the release dates when it says the fourth quarter and whatnot, but it can't be too far off. If you didn't know how much 18 centimeters is, it's about 7 inches, so about standard action figure kind of deal. 45 points of articulation and featuring diecast, because of course he does. He's got fusion cannon, custom metal frame, includes accessories, 1 fusion cannon, 1 back cannon. I don't know why that's an accessory, but fair enough. And 4 sets of interchangeable hands. What do you think of him, Big D?
Well, I've done a quick check with my tape measure I've had to hand. Don't ask why. And 18 centimeters, he's actually the same size, more or less, as Gen Select's Megatron, who is my benchmark for the evening on my desk.
Okay.
I shall be scheduling everyone against Gen Select's Megatron, if anyone's interested.
Mm-hmm. So he's about Voyager scale, then?
Yeah, which is not a bad size.
It's fine.
I appreciate the paint scheme, because that comic book look of Megatrons doesn't get a lot of love. Not really. And the black bucket head works really well for that design.
It's never been my favorite. I think it looks a bit weird and clunky.
No, I get that. I mean, this version. Look, I'm looking at the picture where you got all his kit, the spare hands and the blaster, kind of face on, and that doesn't really do anything for it, except for the helmet looks a bit too curved, if that makes sense. It looks too like a helmet.
Yeah.
But looking at the other pictures where he's all kitted out and posed and doing stuff, menacing, leaping, running, looking to blast someone to pieces. I mean, I like the looks of this. Have they quoted a price yet? Because I couldn't see a listing for a price anywhere.
No, I didn't see a price listing. They've only got the size when he's going to be coming out, but no actual monies. With 3-0, they're usually quite expensive though, so I would expect near 100 or more, maybe potentially.
Ooh. I mean, there's a lot of articulation in there, but for a non-transforming figure, that's a big ask.
And that's the usual kind of money that you spend on like these kind of figures. Unfortunately, third-party die-cast frame, lots of accessories, and lots of paint. He's not going to be a cheap boy, that's for sure.
No, I mean, the paint does look quite lovely. I mean, all that metallic red, that off bronze, that lovely bluish black, because it's not a pure black on most of it. It's sort of that off black color. It does look quite nice, from my perspective, anyway. What do you think, Andy?
It's not my style. I don't particularly like the 3-0 kind of design aesthetic. It's fine. The color scheme on it, again, I'm not much of the original kind of Marvel comic color scheme Megatron. I'd maybe be a bit more into it if it had the... Do you remember the advert where he had a different head?
I think so, yeah.
Like the original advert, I think, for the comic where he had the black helmet and the not original Megatron face and he had the yellow eyes.
Yes.
I think if he had that head, I'd be a bit more... I wouldn't be interested enough to buy it, but I'd be like, oh, well, it's something a little different.
Okay.
It's fine. It's an interesting design, but it's just not for me. And I do think his fusion cannon... it doesn't look like a classic one, but it does look like a scope for an actual gun, which is nice at least. It's weird that you can stick his back cannon onto the end of the fusion cannon.
It's a little odd.
Yeah,
but I was like, okay.
I'm not sure how that works. Like, if you were playing with this figure, is the idea that it has a barrel inside of it, or does he take the barrel off of his back and put it onto the fusion cannon? Which way do you think that works? How do you, in your mind, how does that play out?
I mean, I kind of picture it as maybe being like, if he wants the arm cannon as is for kind of close in work, and then if he wants to actually snipe someone, he pulls the extra barrel off and slots it in. Does the old Man from Uncle job, ironically enough.
So in your eyes, he would have to disassemble his back and then kind of reassemble his gun, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of speed longer barrel than Bob's your uncle.
You can also just take off the front of the fusion cannon and replace it with the longer back barrel as well, if you want to do that, which I don't think looks too bad. But I think just having the back gun just stuck on the fusion cannon again looks just a bit strange. Looks a bit awkward.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Where it's attached without the front of the barrel, that does look more natural, shall we say? Than protruding from the main barrel, because that just does look a little bit on the weird side. Although ironically, that where it's got the smaller barrel instead of the main one, that gives me a bit of the old Transformers v G.I. Joe World War II vibe to it, oddly enough.
I was actually thinking the Hearts of Steel. I don't know why. To me, that looked like a very, very old cannon that you'd have on a train kind of gun. But I can see the G.I. Joe kind of World War.
Yeah, I can see what you mean as well, actually.
Yeah, it's a neat idea. Something a bit different. But yeah, Megatron in this style. If you're a 3-0 collector, I don't know any of them personally, but
if you are into that, I'm sure it'll be a fine addition because it looks like a nice, articulated, well-designed figure. So.
Well, here's a question. Do you think people will get this over the original coloring of Megatron? Because I'm sure there's a standard color as well. I always wonder, how well the comic version, the Marvel comic versions of characters do in comparison to their original release.
Yeah, that is an interesting one.
It can't be a big market, right? It has to be a lot more limited. By by how much?
Kind of a niche within a niche.
Yeah, pretty much. Because just think, the people who read the original Marvel comics that remember this color scheme are we're getting to that age where we'll be dying off.
I was going to say hi.
Yeah. Our generation who's like, oh yeah, I remember the Marvel comics. We're going very quick, and then the younglings who are into Transformers be like, why is Megatron colored wrong? Why does he have a blue hat or a black helmet? Looks dumb.
Do you think it might have been a better option for him to come with the option of heads? A choice of this head or the classic all grey head?
Well, the thing is...
Because otherwise he's pretty much... Apart from those black bits on the shoulders, he's pretty much... Hell, I'm watching Moonbase VI Part 1 right now in the background, and there's not much difference apart from the head helmet being black.
So the question is, do I think it's a good idea? I guess from a fan perspective, yes, because it gives you more things to do. From a business perspective, no, because it would require more money for, buying paying for extra molding and stuff like that. And when you just do a simple repaint, effectively, they go, yeah.
And this way, you potentially get people to double dip. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. The idea with the repaint is you already have the mold, so it's just free money at that point, I think. Not free, because you still got to produce the figure, but it's way cheaper than making a new mold, obviously.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Not my cup of tea. Shall I move us on?
Let's.
All right. We got the first look as Transformers Rise figures. Apparently, the video game is going to have its own click onto the toy line. I'm surprised... These aren't looking like... No, these aren't going into the Studio Series Gamer Edition.
Yeah.
Their own line, which I was kind of confused about, because I thought the Gamer Editions would be, perfect for this instead of starting another new line. We're going to start off with a Starscream and Bimblebee 2-pack, because I guess why not? We've got the price for them. Hang on, I'll go with Bumblebee's going to transform in 20 steps. Starscream in 26 steps. Bumblebee's 5.5 and Starscream 6.5 inches, respectively. They're going to be priced at $71.90 US dollars for some reason. And Canadian price is going to be $97.99. Wow, so there's nearly 100 beans in Canada.
Yeah.
That's a lot of beans. Let me read the bullet points as well. Okay, Transformers Rise. When the Quintessons attack New York City, an unlikely alliance must be forged to stop the alien threat. In Transformers Rise, the Autobots and Decepticons team up to stop the Quintessonions' menace before they take over the universe. Choose your player. Toy. Pick up your toy. Fans can add an unlikely co-op to their collection. This 2-pack includes the Autobot Decepticon team-up of Starscream and Bumblebee figures. Video games inspired alt mode. Starscream figure converts to a jet mode in 26 steps. Bumblebee in 20 steps. I said that already. Battle damage deco and accessories. Both toys feature premium metallic battle damage. No, you're lying. I don't. You're fucking lying. We'll get to it. Both toys feature premium metallic battle damage deco reflecting the character graphics in the video game, including 2 null rays and 2 ion pistols. Rise-themed packaging. Rise figures feature special packaging inspired by the Transformers Rise with image stills of the characters in the game. It's just box art. Whatever. Capturing the moments, each sold separately, subject to availability. Okay, so yeah, there's our description of the toys. We see them in vehicle mode, we see them in robot mode, and there's 2 shots on the back of their of the game itself, which we haven't actually seen in motion yet. What do you think of this set, Big D? What do you think? Do you like them? Do you like the premium paint job?
Premium question mark paint job.
Yeah, Jesus, tell me about it.
Because it's an interesting pack. The price is a bit wince-worthy, but I mean, I do actually like the designs. I'm not entirely sold on this execution of either of them.
Is it the paint job that's not selling you on it?
I'm not sure. I can't really put my finger on it, to be fair. I mean, Screamer, the holiness in his forearms is a bit. I mean, it's kind of a given nowadays, but that kind of stands out.
Tell me about it. At this point, you just got to suck it up and go, yep, that's a Voyager, ain't it?
Yeah, but I mean, I like both the alt modes. I think they do both look like good alt modes. The robot modes, Starscream actually looks like a pretty good robot mode, in all fairness. That would work in a lot of people's collections, even if they're not doing the game. B, again, you can see bits of... I think it's one of those, I'd like to have them in hand. Okay. I think I probably would buy this set just to get a feel for what the Rise tie-ins would be like.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm sure I read some of it. Rise is no longer the name. That's just a placeholder. It might be something like Rising or something like that. They've changed it.
I mean, the box art says Rise at the moment, so I mean that's subject to change. I'm sure by the time it gets released, but.
Not actually the name of the game anymore. It's more of a placeholder than an actual release packaging, which is weird. I mean, it's nice to get 2 guns for B, although they're tiny.
Oh, they're super
small.
And
Screamer having his null rays is a bit of a novelty these days. I mean, I like them. It's just I can't see. I mean. Screamer, you can see he's got some black on one wing and that's not on the other one. Is that supposed to be battle damage?
Well, as far as I can tell, yeah, that's the battle damage because there's no other reason.
And there's someone kind of another bit of his fat side of him, and it's just like, if that's for battle damage, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's not even paint. It's just it looks like molded plastic. I don't understand the. I don't understand what they're going for. If they say it's battle damage, it's somehow worse battle damage than Siege, which is impressive. I was going to say
that. I mean, they're up against Siege, which was not great, let's be honest.
No.
And they're failing. I mean, you can see it here. Screamer's got about 1 black pauldron and 1 red. It's like, well, is that his battle damage? Or is it not?
Well, it must be. Because what else? Like it says in the description, battle damage pain. So... this is it. What else could it be?
It just doesn't read as because it's literally just a whole panel that's different color. That's not battle damage. I see you being lazy, you dopes.
No, that's battle damage in a PlayStation 1 game where you just kind of you color one of the polygons black and you go, well, that's fair enough. But it's not 2001. This isn't that era anymore. I think generally the molds don't look bad. Bumblebee looks fun. You're right about him having teeny weeny pistols. Okay, sure. The actual design of his robot mode looks interesting. I'm not sure about his head design. It looks like he's got a big old chin strap holding down an American wrestling helmet. I'm not 100% down with. Very small little gray face in there with his big yellow football helmet. But the actual mold itself looks like it could be interesting. Bumblebee's vehicle mode, kind of a. It looks almost like, do you remember the wreckers in the live action movies, which were terrible? Honestly.
Yeah.
How they were like NASCARs, but then with monster truck frames on them or like guns. It kind of gives me the same vibes. I actually like Bee's vehicle mode. It's got a lot of black on it, which is a nice change to Bee's general aesthetic. Looks like a fun little derpy car ready for war. That's good. The pistols just kind of sticking on the front of the car is a bit silly, but okay. Some kind of vehicle storage, whatever. I've seen way worse.
I mean, it's a dune buggy. They were built out of Beetles. It's like the most obvious Bumblebee retool ever, and it's never, to my knowledge, have they done a Bee as a dune buggy before?
I think this is the closest thing, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it still looks like a bug, but a tricked out dune bug.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I dig that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I say, I think it's the head sculpt that I'm not down with. I'd be interesting to see what the 20 steps to transform him are, like how good he is, what's his articulation like, does he have a waist joint, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Starscream, I think, looks a lot better. I like Starscream a lot. I don't like the design of his null rays. They don't really evoke the null ray vibe to me. As
That's fair.
They look more like the Gatling guns Blackout had in the live action movies.
Yes, yeah. They do a more automatic cannon kind of thing.
Yeah, rather than the null ray, which they're also situated on his forearm. Null rays, generally speaking, are guns that plug into either just below the shoulder on the bicep or on the shoulder. These look a little bit on the weedy side. I don't terribly mind that, but they're being called null rays. I'm like, it's not quite right. The quote unquote metallic paint job. I don't see any fucking metallic paint job on this. I don't see it. That someone wrote that down and they didn't know what they were talking about, or they're just outright lying, because that looks like, if I'm generous, like Citadel gunmetal gray.
Yeah, that's been very generous.
Yeah, it could be a really, really, really dark black to gunmetal kind of color. Like there might be metallic flakes in there to make it look a bit shiny, but I doubt it. It doesn't look metallic. I think we're being, again, generous to call it that.
Yeah,
and it's just like you said, Big D. It's just everywhere. It's nonsensical just where this black has been placed. It's in too many spots. It just makes it look like it's messy, inconsistent and messy. I think if you want these figures, also, why is it not on Bumblebee? Should they not, like, has Starscream been tanking and Bumblebee's just not been helping the team?
I think it is. It's just on B, because he's yellow and black, you can't really make out the difference because it's such a dark metallic that they've used.
I'm going to say that's not the case because it's asymmetrical on Starscream, and if it's on Bumblebee, it's symmetrical. So then how would you be able to tell if the damage was there or not?
Yeah.
If you see what I'm saying.
So I do.
I don't know.
Weird.
I assume that this is going to be just like the introduction pack, and you'll be able to get a normal colored Starscream, and I don't know if you get a normal colored Bumblebee in the future, but I think if you don't buy this, there'll probably be a standard colored Starscream, I would imagine.
That'd be nice. I mean,
I think
actually,
both
of those are taking just a standard paint scheme. And of course, Screamer, you're going to get at least 2 more reprints out of him.
You'd assume so. It'd be weird if they didn't.
I'll be shocked if we don't get Cracker and Warp out of him.
Agreed. But I really like his jet mode. The jet mode, the shape of it looks nice. I'm not sure how much undercarriage there actually is, because it doesn't look like his arms do a huge amount of transforming, which is a bit unfortunate.
But it looks like at least it's all nice and compact, which which is the key thing with a jet former.
I don't want to say that because we don't get, as usual with promotion images, you don't get a good look at it from the side. You get it from a very specific angle. So I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to be that kind and considerate to them, I'll be honest. I do like the fact that the usual red bits that sit by Starscream's shoulders, which are a little bit far back for the robot mode, they actually form up quite nicely in the middle section of the plane mode.
I do like that, how that stacks up.
It's kind of interesting.
I'm genuinely intrigued to see how he transforms.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I look forward to seeing how it works. But I think that there will be a better version of these molds if you don't buy the starter pack. But that is assumption. I think
we shall see.
Yeah, not bad little set. But you were right about the price. It's like 71. What's 71 calculator? Okay, 71 divided by 60? 2. That's 35 each. And the deluxe is about 25. It's I don't know. I don't know if that's a good price or a standard price. For America, but maybe it is. But yeah, for Canada, that seems rough. You're paying nearly $100 for Canadian dollars for 2 figures is to me rough.
It's more interesting to me that they're actually making these characters as tie-ins to the game because it.
I guess they're trying to push the game.
Last time they did that. Yeah, but the game. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've seen almost, other than a couple of odd teasers which don't really show anything, I've heard nothing about it.
No, they've been keeping rather quiet, I feel, about the game for the moment. I'm sure there'll be news in the future. But yeah, currently at the moment, we've got the teaser trailer, which showed no gameplay. And then I think at most we've had maybe 1 or 2 small trailers and then screenshots, and that's about it. I don't know when it's meant to be released. I think it's next year, but I'm not entirely sure. You know.
I mean, I want it to be good. I mean,
it's going to be an online game, so I've got no hope for it.
Oh, damn it!
You know, it won't be my style game, but I'm sure people that love Fortnite will probably have a good time. You say,
of course they will.
Let's move on to another disappointment. I know this one particularly hurt Mikey. Now, usually, if it hurts Mikey, I'm all on board, because, fuck Mikey, as you do. So, this is the first look at Transformers Earthspark Deluxe Prowl and Thrash. Thrash being a new mold, and Prowl being a repaint of Cyberverse Rodimus, or Hot Rod. Hot Rod, Rodimus? Whichever one it is.
Which is very bizarre.
Well, it's very Earthspark. It's very
Fair.
Earthspark, which is fuck you. It feels like, to me, the Earthspark line continues to feel like we don't care. The kids who watch the show are stupid, so they're not gonna know that this isn't the right character, and they're not gonna care. And the adults probably aren't collecting this line, so fuck them. That's to me how it comes across. I have said for a while that Hasbro don't care about targeting kids anymore, and I think this continues to prove that they don't care about targeting kids anymore, and they're primarily aiming at collectors.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I don't see how. I don't see how anybody like to Thrash, argue against it, to be honest. You like Thrash, you say?
I like Thrash. I think that's quite a nice transformation between the bot and the bike. They both look decent.
My issue with Thrash, because I would agree, Thrash looks nice, but the problem with Thrash is he's not painted. Or he's barely painted.
Yeah, the way they've left the inside of those hips unpainted is quite egregious, let's be honest.
There's quite a lot that isn't painted. If you look at the box art and see like his torso, the abdomen area is just on the toy. It's the kind of pale color, the basic color. That should all be colored. I've seen like someone who did a digibash of Thrash and he looked a lot better for obvious reasons. I made a scathing comment on Twitter basically saying Toy Hacks is going to have a field day just making this guy look like his color scheme. You know, it's pretty rough. Again, for a figure that's called a quote-unquote deluxe, does this and you're going to be if these are, I think these are priced at the same amount as the or a similar price to the the standard legacy
they've been
figures.
averaging 20 to 25 quid in most shops that I've seen.
Yeah, do these seem like they're the same amount, like value-wise, as like a legacy figure? Because to me, they don't. They should be at least £5 cheaper. At least, if we're being generous. Man.
I mean, Thrash, I'll give it just for complexity of the figure, of our transformation. I agree with you on the paint, but that is egregious. Prowl, dear God, what were they thinking? Because it's not a particularly complex design in the first place.
No,
it doesn't look like it's clearly not Prowl especially when you got the box art showing what the design for the character should be. And it's not like there's a dearth of Datsun type cars they could have done this with.
Well, they were going to do this anyway. This is what they do with the Earthspark line. Starscream with Cyberverse, Starscream, Shockwave with Cyberverse, Shockwave. I think there's been a few other cases where they've just lifted the deluxes from the previous Cyberverse line and plopped them in here with the basic repaint. The weird thing is as well, Prowler's not even in season 1. Why is he here?
Yeah.
Why is he here? There's Swindle we could have. There are the 2 Lady Jets we could have had. Remember, I don't like Spark. I think it's a pretty bad show. But there are these characters you could have. You could have Soundwave. You could have Breakdown.
Was it Breakdown?
You could have a Leader 1, you know?
Yeah, I'm very surprised we haven't had an Lisa 1 because she was they made her quite a prominent part of the show.
She was in like 3 episodes.
Like I say, prominent for Earthspark, that's prominent.
Yeah, that's an issue I have. But yes, that is a fair point. Who else?
Wheeljack, RC.
Wheeljack, RC, yeah, exactly. Any of those guys, they're all season 1. Who the fuck's Prowl? Prowl's a repaint with a whoever did. I think it's a Nick Roche design that they used for the CG model here. If he's season 2, maybe he's season 2. I don't know. But this it's literally just the hot rod mold that they took and went, how about we make him white? We throw on some blue, and that'll be done. Even comes with the exact same accessories. I hate the Earthspark line. Like I say, I might not like the show. I might think it's bad, but I wish they'd respect it. You know, I wish they'd give it its due and give them at the very least. I wish they'd give them their own figures.
Yes.
I mean, I don't like the Transformers 2015 RID show, and I'm buying a crap ton of them at the moment, the Warrior class figures. I'm buying a shit ton. I'm almost, I'm very close to getting all of the unique molds at this point.
Oh, nice.
Because I really like them. I think they're fun.
Yeah.
They should, I wish I could have got them on sale, you know, for like dirt cheap prices, but they're a lot of fun, and they look like the characters. Granted, some of them are missing copious amounts of paint, but they look like the figures. It wasn't just picking up repaints from other shows and just slapping them in there and going, yeah, there you go, that'll do. This is very disappointing. I'm sure we'll see this continue on, unfortunately. I think
it's a shame because I have more time for Spark than you do.
Yes.
Based on our conversations.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's higher or anything, but I've enjoyed what I've watched of it because I kind of get what they're going for, and it's intrigued me what they've been doing with the storytelling for that audience. But again, I can't disagree with what you're saying, but the number of repaints of molds from previous lines is just, man, that's bad.
You know how you save it? You know how you justify these repaints? The show have these as basic models. So if they looked like this, like if Shockwave looked like Cyberverse Shockwave in the show, fine. Okay, repaint him, make him more pink, fine. People would go, that's a bit lazy, but you go, okay, fine, it's a bit of money for the TV show saved rather than the toy line. I'd be okay with that. It would make sense.
That's not what they've done. They've created unique designs for the show, and they've not bothered to even try and give them a go in toy form.
It would be like back in G1 having the Ironhide toy with an image from the cartoon of Ironhide on the front of the box, and you get him and you're like, it looks nothing like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a head. Actually, I lie. He doesn't have a head. No, that's true. But his face is in his chest. He's got the most weedy arms, the most weedy legs, and it almost feels like false advertisement. It's not. But it feels disingenuous, especially like you have the box art and you have the figure, and then you have the really cool artwork in front of it, and you're like, I want that figure. That could be cool potentially.
I mean, it's not even like they've tried to hide it by packaging them in vehicle mode.
No.
They got the intro character model right below.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The figure, and it's just like, who approved that? Who in their right mind gave that the go ahead?
At the very least, they could have added like the siren bar, like the flashing lights on the top of the car mode, but they didn't.
Instead of on the bonnet.
Yeah, it's implied, isn't it? It's like that's where the thing is, right? It's like no.
That's not how police cars work.
You're crazy. You're so crazy. So crazy. Man, what a disappointment. I don't like these.
No. I mean, I might give Thrash a go because I do like it, but that Prowl is just, it leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
I can tell you the only Earthspark figure I'm tempted by is the Shockwave, because technically he could be cheaper than getting the Cyberverse one. But the thing that puts me off is he has a fucking awful alt mode. It's shit.
I must say, I would potentially like to have a set of Terrans. If they did all 5 of them, so they've done Thrash and Twitch, and I think they've done
the dinosaur one
and
the owl one.
Yes.
Nightshade.
So it's just
Nightshade?
so it's just the RV still to go.
Oh, that's right.
I'd quite happily take a set of those 5, because I do. The idea of them I find quite compelling.
Okay.
And there'd be a nice, interesting little subset in the collection, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But although honestly, I thought the Thrash they did before, it was like one of the sidecar was more of an accessory than anything else.
Oh, wasn't that is that a 1-step changer, 3-step changer, warrior class? Is it something like that?
I think it was warrior class they were calling it, so it wasn't deluxe, but it was still quite intricate for what it was.
Yeah, like the warrior class now are basically they have a few steps to them, but the main thing is they have some kind of action feature gimmick. I think. Yeah,
but it looked good for that as a representation of the character. I was sort of tempted by that, to be fair. So
might still be an option, but to be honest, like these go on sale. I saw like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Amazon had like a Prime Day sale, and they had a lot of the Spark figures on sale. I think they were about depending on who it was, like £12 to £14. So keep your eyes open, Biggie, and you might be able to grab
Smiths
them.
have a lot of. I mean, the Earthspark Deluxes are almost all under £20 now.
Yeah,
if not lower.
Yeah,
most of the other Earthspark figures have been down to about a tenner.
Yeah, which isn't a huge shock. So I think you'll be able to get a deal on them if you really want them. Yeah. Not for me. Not for me, unfortunately.
Should we have a palette cleanser?
Yeah, TFcon Orlando. It happened, and we got the obligatory third-party panel. I have my list of things that we're going to be going through. I've talked about some of these things on the show before. So I'm not gonna. If I've talked about it, I'll just briefly mention it. But I guess this will be your section, Big D, because you haven't really seen any of these things, have you?
No, I've had a brief.
You had a brief what? You cut out.
Let's start with what was this? Mechanical Skull Studio.
Yep, they're showing off the MS-01 Cyrus, the Solo Wing, which is Armada
Sirius
Starscream.
Solo Wing? Sirius, I think. Yeah, Sirius.
Oh, Sirius Solo Wing. Okay, there we go. Size-wise, he's 10 centimeters tall. In the robot mode head, if you include the back cannons, he's 11 centimeters. Okay, and then 12 centimeters in jet mode. Cool. You get the main figure, foldable wing sword, posable used sword, a 3mm compatible angled hands, 5mm compatible hands ×2, posture used solid fists ×2 again, and combinable racing car. That's his Minicon Swindle, by the by. What do you think of him? Because I talked about him with Mikey a while ago when we saw the original prototypes. I saw Mikey talking about him on Twitter. I think he forgot that we had talked about him. But that's that's fine. I still think he looks really cool. He's not a big figure. He's legend class. He's super posable.
I mean,
and looks way better than an in-grade prototype, which is what we assumed. What do you think of him?
I mean, if the price is right, this guy could be an instant buy just because of how damn good he looks.
What is the right price?
Ooh. Legends class, third party. If he's around like the 30, 40 mark.
No, you're joking.
Higher?
It'll have to be higher.
Just for the amount of engineering in there?
Well, it's a third party toy, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've bought quite a few Iron Factory figures that are like
when
30, 40. All right, that's a very good point. Not recently.
No, a lot of the Legends class figures are like I would imagine 60 upwards.
Okay. I mean, 60 to me is steep, but again, just from a purely looking at it dispassionately, the amount of engineering that's gone into this figure, because he is super posable from what they've shown. I mean, what they're doing with it just looks astounding. The jet mode's nice. The fact you get a swindle even if it doesn't transform, that's nice because it's more than Hasbro gave us. The fact that both you get two swords effectively, which again is something I wish flipping Hasbro figures did more often because it just makes sense.
Yeah, it's weird because it looks like
that one has the gimmick, the other one is just for posing, and it's
you say one has the gimmick. Does it, or is it sculpted to look like it does?
That's a very good point.
I think it's sculpted to look like it does, so it can look more like the toy version. But I don't think it actually does it. I could be wrong.
I think you are. I think you are right because I can't see it fitted to either of the wings. So that's a very good point there. Well spotted.
I don't think it's a big deal. That's not a complaint. That's just it's an interesting idea. I don't know whether they're trying to evoke the toy or because I don't think it ever looked like that in the show.
No, but it does show a certain amount of care on their part. That they're thinking about it. They're thinking, let's just not just give you the sword as it appears in the show. Let's give you the sword as it would have appeared as a toy. So you have options. You can do what you like with your figure. You can play around with it. You can do what you like.
Well, here's the question: do you think it's better to have the fake hinged one, or would you prefer instead a sword that's like in translucent red? So, because in the show he had it either like solid, or then he had it turned quote unquote turned on where it was glowing red. I think maybe a glowing red sword or like a translucent sword might be better,
or maybe even a Star Saber as a separate piece.
I mean, I wouldn't be against that.
That would have been an interesting choice as well, to be fair.
I guess, like, how do you do the Star Saber? Do you do the Star Saber like the Legacy did, which is kind of a colored blue? Do you do translucent? Like, how do you do that? And that's a lot of sculpting. With my translucent sword, you just need the shape.
Cast in a color. Yeah.
Translucent plastic boom.
No, that's fair as well. But I think it speaks to the quality the designers have brought to the figure that they thought about this clearly. Like you said, I get what you're saying that potentially they could have done a sword that looks like it's got the energy effect on, which I have no doubt someone will do down the line. Maybe even as an extra part in one of the inevitable repaints. But if you're an Armada fan, I can't see you passing this figure up.
Well, where does it fit in your collection? Unless you're a Legends kind of scale collector, I don't think this is going to really fit anywhere else.
True. But I find it fascinating that we are now moving to a phase where Legacy is tackling the Unicron trilogy. Where third party is tackling the Unicron trilogy.
Yeah, it's still rare to see it happen, but there are I can think of two. Fans Hobby and this, and that's it. I can't think of anybody else that's really delving too deep in.
If this is the first start of one company going, we want to stake our ground. We're going to start doing Armada Legends class figures.
God, that'd be nice. Yeah, I'm good with that because you know what we could do with a Skids toy that isn't shit. Oh, sorry, Sideswipe, whatever he was called. You know the
Red
one that
Alert?
had the bike for his minicon.
Oh,
The Autobot.
now
I think it's Skids a Sideswipe.
Was he the blue one?
He was blue, yes,
And not Blur.
and not Blur. Yes, correct.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah, he was amongst a line that was not exactly noted for having particularly. How should we put this? Robots with any amount of articulation. He was a standout for being just a brick.
He was shit. He was aggressively shit. We could do with a good version of him. We could do a good. We could do with a good version of Scavenger as well.
Yeah.
Those two could be really handled nicely. I don't think there were any others who were outright shit. Those two were the worst ones. I think everybody else. I would like to see
this approach taken to the rest of the Armada line, though, because
they've
made a robot that looks. Admittedly, Armada was very close to the toy designs anyway with the animation models, but it was also much more anime in its aesthetic. So you had that. A lot of the robots did look more heroic in robot mode.
Yes.
And this has those same sort of proportions to it from the angles they've shown.
I mean, you say that, but you mean when they were on model, and most of the time they were never on model. I know because I'm 2 episodes off from finishing it, and I'm just not going to bother. But my God, the inconsistencies in that animation make G1 look like a masterpiece.
What? You're not going to watch the last episode, which has one of the best the Galvatron fights ever?
No, because I'd rather watch King Oja, which is actually really compelling and interesting.
But it has Prime doing a spin kick off of the staff on the Megatron.
Yeah,
it's
but
great.
my God, the show's so boring. It's so boring.
Yeah, I know. I've never actually watched all of them. I just bought a best of DVD cassette they did, and it's like less than half the show.
And even then, it's such a weird show to watch because I do like when I watch things, I usually do 2 episodes a night, and I'd watch 2 episodes and I'm like, nothing's happened. No characters have progressed. The story's at a snail's pace in progression. There's really weird edits and jumps in the story when they're on Cybertron doing the Unicron stuff. There's such weird jumps, and you go, what is going on? What were they thinking? I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess. Not the worst Transformers show, though, which is sad to say. But the designs were great for it. That's one thing you can always say about Armada. It had really cool designs. Starscream being one of them.
Well, I'll be funny. I bought the Starscream, the original Armada Starscream toy, knowing nothing about what they were doing with the franchise. I'd been picking up Beast Wars and Beast Machines figures before that point, and just then this new wave hit, and I was like, "Oh, what's this? Let's give it a whirl." I'll be honest, I was somewhat befuddled by what I got out of the pack because he felt a bit of a step back in places, but I liked the intent that was there. I appreciated what they were trying to do. Plus, it came out at the same time as an absolutely fantastic video game. So,
I mean, at the time, it was the best Transformers game. I'm not sure. I'd be as kind to say fantastic. It's fun. It's fun, but it's not fantastic.
Me and my housemates played through it over like space of a few months, and we had a good time. So.
That's fine. Having a good time's perfectly okay. Fantastic game though? No. Bless you. This is not like a Metal Gear Solid game or a Ico or Shadow of the Colossus. That's why it's like it's fine.
But it came out at a time when the PS2 was in like its second era, shall we say, where everyone had kind of got got used to the tools and they were starting to do some really quite impressive stuff graphically.
Do you really want me to get like a list of games that came out in the same year as that Armada game?
Oh no, I know some because Metal Gear Solid 3 came out not too far off it, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of like things like the Amazon basin, the size of the maps and the freedom some of them had. By modern standards, you're right. They're no.
I don't mean by modern standards. I mean by standards of the time. It was only okay.
Yeah. But it let you transform, and you could do the Optimus Prime, run up and smash through people, which made me
What
happy.
what a counterpoint! You could transform.
Yeah,
You could transform.
I'm a simple man.
You could transform in very specific parts, but most of the game you don't transform. Most of the game you're not transforming because it doesn't have a purpose within the game structure.
All right, that's fair. I'll give you that.
Most of the game you're not transforming. You have a very small amount where it's actually viable to be in your car form.
Yeah.
A lot of those boss fights are not fun. Tidal Wave boss fight is cool. Megatron, no. Cyclonus, no. Starscream, no. None of those boss fights are good apart from Tidal Wave.
Yeah. God damn it, Andy! Stop ruining my youth. Well, I say youth. I was in my 20s when that game came out. Jesus.
I'm sorry to come back and destroy the nostalgia every time. I feel like every time you're like, I kind of like this thing, I'm coming in and kicking your sandcastle over, going, no, this was bad, this was bad, this was bad. And you're like, oh shit, it was. Like, you're fucking right, it was. Get out of here. Don't live in a glorious, happy world. Live in my world of sadness and pain. Join me. Join me.
If I must.
But like I say, the Armada game is fine. I don't think it's a bad game. I just don't think it's an amazing game. There are a lot of really good elements about it.
Yeah.
But for the time period,
that's fair.
Like if I was going to give it a rating for that time period, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. It's it's above average. It's not amazing.
Oh,
but
it's a solid 6-7. It's one of those. It's the sort of game. If you buy it, you won't feel bad about playing it. But you probably wouldn't be rushing to buy it unless you're a fan.
Don't get me wrong. It's not like what was The Hobbit on PlayStation 2? Or was that PlayStation 1? Because that was fucking awful.
That was Xbox and PS2, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that was a fucking
one that came out at the same
game.
time as the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, they were trying to profit off of them.
Yeah,
it was off-brand. It was a Hobbit story.
Bad.
Yeah, it was like if you don't know, chat, go and have a look at PlayStation 2 The Hobbit. Man, especially around the time when EA was putting out the Lord of the Rings movie tie-in games, which were pretty good. They were shockingly fun.
Two Towers and Return of the King were they were incredibly entertaining if you were up for a bit of hack and slash.
Yeah, for the time period, those games really solid. The worst thing I can say about the Return of the King game is it spoils a lot of the movie, and it came out beforehand.
Yes, there is that.
And I was stupid, and I was I need to know. I can't wait until December to see this fucking movie. I want to see it now. So I saw the clips, and I was like, fuck yeah! Still love the movie.
You tell me you were spoiled for a film based on a book series that at the time was almost 60 years old.
I didn't read books. I don't. I've never been a book reader. Like when I got Sonic the Comics, I would only look at the images. I told my mum, who was an English teacher, I'll never need to read. I think that was the day.
Beating you, what did you say then?
I think that was the day she really died, to be honest. That was if not physically, that was when her heart died, when her son told her, an English teacher, I'll never need to read. I think I was a massive disappointment to my mum.
Not to be too harsh, mate, but I'm kind of on her side here.
I mean, in retrospect, she wasn't wrong. She said, you'll need to read at some point so you can enjoy those comics. I'm like, you're wrong. I remember telling her, you're wrong. She wasn't wrong. She was right. I was a child. I didn't know what... This is why I say, children are stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. Because I was a child, I didn't know what I was talking about. You actually do need to read, children. Who knew?
Yeah.
What's the next Transformer we're talking about? The next one is going to be from Collector Space, the CSO B, as the CS01 a little B. I think me and Mikey talked about this one again when it was in uncolored prototypes. It is a sexy girl Bumblebee with most of the car mode on her back. It can transform into a standard Volkswagen Beetle, which you would expect, but it is a shell former, so don't expect
pretty much
crazy amounts of stuff. Comes with a stand, comes with a bottom ton, if you would, of accessories, little hands, extra face emotions and whatnot. So Big D, what do you think of Girl Bee, Woman Bee?
I'm always torn on these figures because on a fundamental level, I'm not a big fan of figures that are blatantly designed for sex appeal. You
don't like sexy robot women. Do you not like women? You hate women. Why do you hate women?
There's no safe answer to this question.
Wow, that's the fun part.
Yeah, I mean, on a fundamental level, I actually do appreciate the design work they've put into this.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel as tawdry, shall we say, as some of the others that have come out in the past, like the RC and the Windblade that came out a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like they put more thought into it. There's little things like the way that the Volkswagen, when it collapses onto the back, they've designed basically little insect wings on the insides.
Yeah,
I like that. That's a nice little touch. The amount of extras you get, the hands, you got the peace signs and they're a bit au fait and whatnot, but they give you options to use faces. The idea that the base can store stuff, that's nice. Would have been nicer if it wasn't in clear, smoky grey plastic, so you could see everything inside inside it, because that's kind of disturbing when you stop and think about it. But I mean, I like the two blasters, I like the shield. But the figure itself is nicely posable. I can see how, even though it is a shell former, you can see that they have actually at least put the rear wheels, I think it's the rear wheels, are part of the figure's upper thighs, which is, at least they've made it so it's not a complete shell former. You do need both to make the vehicle mode. I mean, it poses beautifully. You can't really fault that. It looks great. There's some lovely paint detail in there. That turquoise on top of some of the yellow, that's lovely. That's a really nice detail, and it kind of works for B, who's always had those greenish blue eyes. I say it's not my taste. I wouldn't personally have one in my collection, but as these things go, it's probably the best take on this type of character that I've seen in a while. That'll make sense.
Yeah. I didn't know if you'd finished describing it or not. No, that's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's better colored up now that you can actually see how it looks. Like you say, superposable. That's okay. I guess it's a minor point that it has some actual physical Transformer applications for the robot mode, like you say, with the back wheels or the front wheels being in the back of the thighs. At least that kind of kept there, so you can tell that it is a Transformer and it is meant to be part of the vehicle mode. It's good that you can remove the backpack, because I think it looks really awkward with it. It doesn't look very good with that on the back, even though, like you say, they try to make something out of it. It still looks a bit clunky in a lot of ways. Yeah. But they're trying to go for the very feminine kind of figure, and they've hit that. So there needs to be some things where you roll it back, and the roll back is it's a shell former. If this is your aesthetic, if you've got Nicey, the RC, and you've got the Windblade figure, this will, I think, fit nicely into that kind of aesthetic. Or if you've got the model kits, again, this will fit in well with those, I guess, depending on the size. It doesn't say on here how big they are, but it's all right. I kind of wish it was more of a Transformer, to be honest, than it actually is. But it seems like it's more of an action figure than it is a Transformer figure, is probably how I would sell it to people. Yeah,
very much so.
This will make cosplayers happy, because it's another Transformer kind of design that they can cosplay. So that's fine. I wonder what they'll do next. Will it? Who do you think they'll do next, Big D? Will it be, because there'll be only these figures, will it be Optimus Prime, Megatron, or Starscream? Which one?
No, they'll do Cliff Jumper.
No, they won't. Well, okay, let's say new mold, because there's a potential they just repaint it. Just for easiness.
All right, new mold.
New mold.
Ooh.
Because it's those four that I've mentioned. It's guaranteed. Because, let's be honest, they're not doing Thunderclash. They're not doing Rage from the Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
They're not doing Stalker from the Predators.
Let's go with the most... All right, let's go with Sexy Starscream. Because then they've got an automatic repaint of Slipstream right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would make sense. I could see that. Yeah. I think they might do Prime because, like, in terms of popularity, it's like Bumblebee's the face, and then it's kind of Optimus Prime is the next one.
Yeah, and
So I can see them going that way too, I guess.
I mean, I can see them adapting because they've got the Soju statues of Prime and Megatron in human forms.
And Bumblebee and Starscream. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if they maybe took some pointers from those figures for their own inspiration. So.
It could happen. But there's a big like fandom for Starscream and Prowl kissing, so you could be right with the Starscream too, to be honest. Big horrible fan base for that nightmare fuel. You don't want to come across that on Twitter. It'll haunt you.
Yeah, Rule 34 is a thing.
The ladies love their Prowl and Starscream, or just Starscream and Megatron, Optimus Prime and Megatron, or Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. It's weird. Yeah, everyone has their thing. That's what I say.
Yeah, no judgment.
No, come on. A little bit of judgment. It's fine to judge. You just don't be an asshole about it. But you know, on the inside, the British way is to judge from the inside. And inside, you're like wagging your finger, shaking your head, but on the outside, stone-faced. No emotion.
Yes.
That's the way of things. That's how it should be. Next
right, should we? It's those mad lads from Kang Toys.
Yeah, and they've got the Dinobots, the things me and Mikey have talked about before. I'm pretty sure we've talked about colored versions of all of these guys. If not, we've got basically the catalog of the whole Dinobot range. What do you think about the Kang Toys Dinobot range as a whole?
I think that's a lot of transforming slabs of beef. Jesus crikey.
Yep.
I mean, it's Kang Toys doing what Kang Toys does, which is just being ridiculously and over-engineered to make you want to, and with figures that you're going to cut yourself on.
Potentially, hopefully not, but I can see it.
I've not seen one of their designs. I haven't gone and thought, I don't know how I'll transform it without cutting my hands open.
Oddly enough, the Spinosaurus isn't quite as sharp as I thought it might be. The teeth are for the Spinosaurus, definitely, but I thought the Spinosaurus spine would be, instead of like blades, it would all be individual spikes. Luckily, they're not.
Yes, that's very fortunate.
Yes.
But no, I there's some interesting stuff going on here.
What do you think of the aesthetic? Because it's a very unique way to design the Dinobots.
Yes, yeah, they've got a particular look, Kang Toys. It's not necessarily one that I'm sold on, 100%. But I appreciate what they're going for, and if you're already in on them, or if this tickles your fancy, I doubt you'll be disappointed, because I mean, they do look fantastic. Let's be honest. They've as massively, I don't want to say over-designed, but they have a very specific. You played a lot of it, Andy. Would you say they got a slightly Armored Core vibe to them with their designs?
No, because Armored Cores are a lot more spindly in a lot of ways, have a more unique look to them. I would describe these as I mean, this is a Chinese company. I'm happy to say that this is a very Chinese design for them. This is 100% in my mind what a Chinese design Transformer would look like. It's not Japanese because it doesn't look Gundam-y or anything kind of that aspect.
It is very much more of a Chinese animation look to it.
Yeah.
And that combined mode is bonkers. Jesus crikey.
It's, for me, from the two, like, there are not many images of the combined mode, which makes it a little bit awkward to look at. There is a far distance poster shot, which isn't great, and then there's a really, really bad in-case shot. So I and because it's in, it's uncolored gray plastic.
Yeah, it doesn't help, but
it doesn't look great. But when we saw the Predaking done and colored up and everything, it looked really cool. I imagine it's going to have a similar kind of vibe when this one, I think this is Volcanica, so effectively.
And you said you, Mike, have seen colored versions?
I think we've seen colored versions of some of them.
Were they in like the classic Dinobot colors, or were they more
Maybe
something doing their own thing, because
to be
I'm
fair,
intrigued.
I could be lying, or they could be digibashes, but I'm sure we saw the Snarl at the very least, and I'm pretty sure he was in, your standard gold tail, red chest, black limbs here and there. I think he was standard kind of colors. It wasn't like anything you wouldn't expect kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice to see. We don't even see like physical prototypes of all of them. We see like again, I guess like magazine scans. I think the catalog version of them. Then we see the Snarl in a case, which I guess means he's done. He just needs to be painted because he's in a. I don't think that's even prototype color. I think that's like silver paint. It looks silver paint or plastic. We see the swoop we've talked about before, and then we see them combined. There are no other. Oh no, are there other physical ones? No, there's no more physical ones, but then there is another line. Which I think is their own stuff. It doesn't really have a listing on the TFcon on the TFW website what these are, but I don't recognize the design of them at all.
No, but they look like they could be a nice. Again, it's a line that if that's your thing, they could be fun to mess around with.
Yes. Yeah, they're very ostentatious, is what I'd say, which is what I generally. That's how I would generally describe the Chinese aesthetic, especially for these kind of things.
They do draw on a lot of classic imperial Chinese armor and for inspiration.
Lots of gold on them. Very like one of them has its wings spread out, and then like I'm guessing like purple fire effects coming out from them. Very bold kind of color scheme.
Yeah, lots of not over designed, but very intricate armor placing and which is their thing and it works.
Yeah, I like I say, don't know what the line's from if it's their own thing at all, because as far as we can see from the images, it doesn't tell you. But keep your eyes open if you want to go after those things, I suppose. Make Toys doesn't really have shit. It's just the exclusive Slip Swarm that I talked about last week. But you can talk about it, Big D. What do you think of Slip Swarm and a massive forehead?
I mean, I like the fact that they picked a different Seeker mold.
Okay, yeah.
Because normally they would literally just take Starscream and just do a palette swap. Is it Dirge?
Thrust,
yeah. Thrust is a novel idea just because it does give her the wing turbines.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a big forehead.
I really don't like that face sculpt. We've seen it in more angles now. She has a tiny, tiny, tiny face relative to the size of that head.
That's a big forehead.
A lot of that's more than a 5 head.
Yes, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
that is. Because otherwise, the colors are nice and poppy. I mean,
yeah, it's what you would expect
nice
from a Slipstream.
Blue.
Yeah,
more of a powder blue than a turquoise blue. To be fair, it's much lighter than normal for most Slipstreams. The purple, nice metallic purple, lots of nice silver.
Wait, hang on,
nice
where's the metallic purple?
Oh, I'm reading the purple on most of the purple on the body and the waist has been metallic. That may be how the picture looks to me.
Yeah, no, I think that's just standard. I think. I assume because it's like mostly over the toy, and I don't think they'd paint that just because it's
you're right.
joints and stuff.
Yeah, but that's just how I was reading the picture. Not how it
to
was
be fair,
done.
in some of it can look a bit reflective, so I can understand that.
No, it's fine.
It's fine,
I guess.
Yeah, it's not an exclusive I would go for personally because it was at the show, so you could buy it if you wanted. But yeah,
like you say, it's not one I'd make an effort to pick up. But if you're there and you got it, fair shout.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree. Right. Next are Robot Toys, who I've never heard of before. So they might be new. They might not be. They've shown these out of order. I don't know why they didn't show RT01 first, but this is RT02 Tyrant, which is a robotized, dinosaur-moded Beast Wars Megatron. It actually, both of these, the Prime and the Megatron, to me, they remind me of. Do you remember the 10th anniversary Beast Wars toys where they re-released them?
I was thinking about looking at both. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah, for those not aware, when they released or re-released for the 10th anniversary, they redid some of the original toys in up-to-date color, show correct color schemes, and then for some reason there was an Optimus Prime originally, and a Megatron.
Because they both had Cybertron key compatible accessories.
You might be right. I don't
know if they actually appeared in the show, but I'm sure they were originally tie-in.
They weren't in the show.
No, but they were intended as a tie-in, a kind of bit of a cross promotion between the two.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were. I thought they were quite nice designs, a bit basic,
Same.
but
I never got them, and I always thought I'd like them because I thought they looked neat.
I have Primal without this, but I didn't get him with the rocket board. But I've got him around here. I've got him around here somewhere, and he was quite fun to just mess around with.
So wait, what did for the original toy? What did the rocket board do? Did it just form like accessories, or did it add to the robot mode?
It was literally just a giant. So you know how his first transmetal form had a flying surfboard. It was that. But
it wasn't incorporated into the robot mode at all.
Nope, it was a separate piece, but it had 2 missile launchers. But was it 2 missiles or 1? But they launched using the cyber key.
Huh. I always thought they did something, or like it transformed into like his feet or something. I don't know. I guess not.
No, I don't think it did.
You would know. You've got the toy. Mine's just based on assumption from like the images I saw years ago.
I'm trying to remember now because it's been a while since I've had it in hand. So I know the toy.
It's actually right in front of you, somewhere.
More than likely. actually, I know precisely because all my classic Beast Wars figures are in a box in my wardrobe with the Beast Machines figures.
Oh my god!
Which I definitely can't get to because it's behind about. Yeah, there's a lot more stuff on that side of the room to get through.
Oh no, no.
But at least I know where that one is.
That's true. So we see him, the Megatron, in dinosaur mode and in robot mode. I think it's safe to assume that his shins are die-cast. They look like it, or they're just they're colored in a different plastic. But I think they're like that because they are die-cast metal.
I mean, I'd be concerned with how them being die-cast on that thin of an ankle joint.
Yeah, I like if you're gonna make stuff diecast. I think generally it's better to put them in on the feet, like just the feet, because that's where like most of the balancing comes from. But I don't know. There might be some reasons.
Yeah,
it looks like a Megatron that you would expect. Just imagine his T-Rex mode more angular. Yeah, pretty much just more angular, and it looks like the side hip guns are a bit more obvious on the dinosaur mode. They're not like incorporated to try and hide it. They're just kind of out there, which is fine. I don't mind. But what do you think of the overall look of him in both modes? Do you like it? Do you think it's poo? How do you feel about it?
I like it. I mean, it's a very hard design to mess up, really, because they've taken the animation, the fundamental details of the animation design, almost one for one, and then just stripped back all the fleshy bits. And that's not a bad look to go for, to be honest.
Do you think it's going to transform similar to the original toy? Because looking at it, I think it might. And that's not a bad thing. I think the original toy transforms fine.
I mean, again, it's a transformation that works. You can't really... The way that figure's designed anyway, I mean, you've got the head on one arm, the tail on the other. There's limits to how many other ways you can change it.
Yeah.
So...
To be fair, it's like one of the few Beast Wars toys that just works. That isn't lying to you. Like Beast Wars Megatron doesn't lie. That's exactly how it transforms. It's not like Black Arachnia, which is magic and woo woo.
Yes,
the hideous lies of Black Arachnia. I'm trying to think. I do like the torso a lot. I think the torso is a really good representation of Megatron. Same for the head sculpt. It seems like that's really good.
I mean, they are nicely sculpted, those 2 bits especially.
I want to see more of how the dinosaur hand-arm articulates, because it looks quite thick around its neck. How is he going to have a lot of elbow joint there? Is that going to be obstructed? I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting question for them to answer, because that is a bit of a big one as well, to be fair.
And the tail claw thing... I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
Well, I mean, you can see some articulation of a tail in the beast mode. So
Well, that's
Not
the thing.
much, but there's a little bit there.
Well, that's the thing. Is the bit on the robot mode, is that the underside of the tail that's kind of been folded up towards it? Or have they done something else with that? I'm guessing that's the case. Yeah, it must be because it's on double hinge. It's on a double hinge, so all of that kind of pointy bits are I'm guessing, the bottom of the tail or the top. Maybe no, it's the top.
Actually, no, that's the top. Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
It looks like that folds over the back of the beast mode to form the spine.
That's right. Yeah, I was trying. It just looked a bit strange to me, and I was trying to figure out what was going on there. But yeah, that seems to be the case. Interesting. We don't get many Beast Wars toys in the third-party range, so I mean, I'm not sure what this fulfills in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But if you want another Vision Megatron, it's something you could do.
They've not indicated how big they are either, have they?
If they have, it's not on the info from TFcon. Sorry, from TFW.
That's a shame.
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, I suppose. Then there's a Primal.
Yep.
Robot mode is not bad. I'm not as much of a fan on the head sculpt on this one. His head seems a little wide. I think it's because of the ear parts. They've added too much thickness to them, so they're sticking out a little bit too far. The hands look really cool in both modes. And the monkey head looks okay. And they've tried to sculpt fur into it.
Ish.
I don't know exactly what they were going for with the fur design.
It's an odd one for that. And I mean, they could have just left it without the fur effect, in all fairness.
You know what it looks like, the fur design? It looks like a cottage pie.
Yeah.
You know, when you for those Americans, when you get a cottage pie, you get your potato on the top, and then you get like a fork, and you basically score the potato across the top. For I don't know why, you just do.
You make your wavy lines.
You make your wavy lines, and that's kind of. It looks like they've made wavy lines on the Primal for whatever reason. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. But again, I think he looks really cool. Apart from the head.
Yeah.
I think Megatron looks better. Which do you prefer?
I do agree Megatron at this point looks better. Primal, I'm wondering if my opinion might be improved if he had the gap in the faceplate.
Oh, you mean the mouth?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm always more of a fan of that because it helps distinguish him from every other Optimus Prime, basically.
Yeah.
So I'd be all right with that as well, to be honest.
Although, I mean, this is going to sound probably really weird. I'm getting big Beast Machines vibes from his Beast mode on Primal. It reminds me more of that than his Beast Wars Beast.
Do you know what it is about it that gives you the Machines vibe versus the Wars vibe? Can you put your finger on what it is?
I think it's the way they've done those, because it's not just on his arms that they've got wavy lines. There are bits of him you can see around the head and everything. They give it like a techno-organic vibe to my brain to kind of fill in the gaps that way.
Do you think when it's coloured, it will probably help itself out a little bit more because it'll distinguish?
I think seeing it coloured will do it. Will do a world of good.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it looks like. Yeah,
absolutely. And what scale it is as well, because it's very hard to tell from what we've seen. I mean,
to be fair, it looks like Prime has mushroom peg swivels for the legs, which could mean it's a Voyager, could mean it's a Deluxe. Like you say, it is kind of hard to tell. I mean, it could be Legends.
That's what I was going to say. Could there be Legend scale?
Yeah, it could be.
Because I'm just looking at him and Megs, and some of the engineering seems a little chunky.
I'll tell you what's interesting. The pin joints in Megatron's shoulders look pretty big. Like if you've got a figure nearby and they've got pin joints, if you look at the size of the pin, maybe these are Legend scales. And if that's the case, that's another unique marker because no one's done Legend scale Beast Wars figures. I mean,
no,
could argue no one's asked, but
sometimes you don't know you want something until you see it on the market.
That's true. Yeah, it might be great. They look interesting at the very least. It would explain the mashed potato effect on the arms as well.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll take interesting because I'd rather a figure be interesting than be boring.
Sure. Yeah. Or G1 again. Yes, I'd be down with
Yes.
that. Yeah,
As well.
He's all white. He's all white. He's all
Yeah.
white. Cool. Should we move on?
Let's.
All right.
Metagate.
Metagate. We've got the Bumblebee. Oh.
Yeah, this is. Sorry. I remember hearing you guys talk about this a couple weeks back.
Yeah, I talked about this last week, the coloured version, so I've got really nothing else to say. This is Shadow from Bumblebee. It's the coloured version. And also, they're showing off a Bayverse drift. But it's the GO3 Brave Warrior with the new face design, so we'll talk about that later. What do you think of Shadow? Probably the best version of Shadow that you can currently get, or will be able to get.
I think there's witchcraft here, because how they managed to make two vehicle modes that look nothing alike.
Well, if you look at the jet mode and how it's kind of not great.
Yeah, I know, but let's be honest.
It'll be a lot
of
probably unfolded. It's like it's been. Do you remember the episode, the Treehouse of Horror episode, where they get turned inside out by the gas?
Yes.
I think that'll be what happens here.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my guess.
I think she looks fantastic. Robot mode is nice. Car mode is clearly the one they put the most thought into.
Yeah.
But the jet mode doesn't look like an afterthought. It's clearly the jet that they were aiming for.
Yeah. I think, like I said last week, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look dog shit. Like, it looks competent for what you're attempting to do.
And let's be honest, it doesn't look like there's a lot of. Admittedly, we've only got. Well, we've got a slightly better picture, a few better pictures now. You can see bits of the bot mode on the undercarriage, but not as much as I was expecting.
Yeah.
Which is nice and very unexpected. So. And again, if you want a Shatter for your collection, this is probably going to be the best one you can get for a very long time.
Probably. Masterpiece scale, I would assume. So depending on if you want deluxe size, this isn't going to fit in there too well. It's going to tower over everybody, but it's the best one.
But if the character spoke to you, this is the version to get, by all accounts.
Yeah, this is the time where Mikey needs to put up a shut up. Mikey's like, I need a good Shatter. Well, this is currently the best one, Mikey.
Yep.
Time to dip that peen, if you know what I mean. Solid figure. What do you think of the Brave Warrior, which is the drift in a white color scheme with a Oni designed head? I think battle mask. Yeah,
it's interesting.
What do you think of the white? I think there's a bit too much white on it. I think there could be a bit more color to break it up.
I mean, the fact that it's kind of like a pearlescent white, gives it a little bit of uniqueness to it. And with the gold, that's not always a combination you see a lot of the time. Because white and gold, although they can work well together, a lot of the time people try and avoid putting those two side by side, especially such a pale gold.
Yeah, I think they maybe should have gone for more. Here comes the Warhammer stuff, people. I think they should have gone with Retributor gold. You know, the more kind of bright gold rather than, like you say, a pale gold. I think that might.
It's more of a Liberator gold, to be fair.
Yeah, the highlight color. I think if there was more gold on the chest, around like you see where the slight blue tint is around the belt. There's like molded detail there. If that was gold as well. And like again, like we say,
I see what you mean there.
Yeah. If that was again brighter gold,
it's a few little steps away from being spot on.
Yes,
I like what they were aiming for, what they've clearly aimed for.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that the amount of white, in some respects, detracts from the amount of panel detail. 'Cause white can be a pain to make all that visible, and there's clearly a lot of panel detail in that robot mode and in the car mode and bits that you can see.
Yeah, agreed.
But for white, if you're not paying attention to it, can make it very hard for it to stand out.
Yeah, not just in camera shots either, in person, just because the further away, it just like you say, the white devours all detail. Same with if it's just pure black as well.
I'd take a wash to it. Either you couldn't tell we're model makers. Either a Gundam marker or even a bit of, I don't want to say Null Oil or Agrax because they're a bit heavy, but maybe something like a bit of Seraphim Sepia.
I guess you could do Null Oil if you just like gave it a thin down with some water,
and just wipe it off the surfaces. So
Yeah.
you just have it in for recesses.
Yeah.
So just a recess wash.
I do.
Just to make it pop, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, like I said, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with it. It's a beautiful car mode. The robot mode, the way it's transformed, it's clearly folded itself inside out to get there, which is lovely. But it's a very nice looking robot mode. It's one that doesn't hide the fact it's a car, but the car bits aren't intrusive, which I always appreciate. It shows the amount of thought put into the design. I say it's just that little step away from being what it could be.
I'll give it another prop in the fact it's not just quote unquote G1 comic drift. It's not just that as well. That's nice.
That could have been very easy for him to do as well. I mean,
it's the obvious thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if Ed's slapped a IDW style drift head on there, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Some people probably would have, but it would have been like the safe bet going this way with, like you said, the Oni style helmet design. That's a nice way to take it and ties it back into the Japanese aesthetic that the Bayverse films really ran with drift.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like it. Again, this is Masterpiece scale, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it is. I can't imagine it's not. To be honest, I think it might have been like business-wise smarter to go for the IDW design and just try and get that in there. Just because I think more people would have been interested to get that. But I appreciate the creativity behind it. I think that's in a lot of ways
and the fact that it's white and blue.
Yeah.
Whereas IDW Drift has always been white and red.
Yes.
So they've clearly made sure that this isn't. They've tried to make it its own thing. So keeping the blue from the movie version of Drift, going about pearlescent white to tie it into the original, whether that's intent or not, to tie it into the original take on the character. It's a nice combination of the two.
I do like the idea that someone just fucked up and it was like, make IDW Drift. It's like, blue, white, that'll do, whatever.
Yeah, that as well.
I don't give a fuck. Just get her out there. Next up, we have, the HTB toys, which are the nanobots. Me and Mikey have talked about nanobots quite a few times over. The new thing with the nanobots primarily seems to be that they're doing G.I. Joe stuff. That's the new stuff that they're going to be doing.
Oh, they're adorable.
They showed Snake Eyes, and I don't know if the other things are new. And they also showed off the hammer for Unicron, which was at least me and Mikey thought it was crap. Well, maybe not crap, but I don't think I didn't have positive. I probably said crap. Mikey might have been a bit more diplomatic than me. And then they show some images of Scrapper, Grimlock, Reflector, Hound with a nightmare face. Is there anything you want to say about these guys? Because I mean, I would just be repeating myself. These are not for me. These are way too small. These are really small, by the way. If you didn't,
I mean, they're what, 6 millimeters?
So there's something stupid. I mean, like don't have these like near a dog, or they'll be eaten.
Yes, pets and small children, keep them away.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 mil to 40 mil. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's pretty much at the size of, like, if you knock these off your table and you have a fluffy carpet, they're gone. You've lost them. You'll never find them again.
The biggest one is 4 centimeters tall. That's insane. Especially to have any sort of articulation.
Imagine you're like one of these people, because of how your fingers are. You don't have very good nails, and you've got more flesh than nail. You'll never pick that up.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I could see myself buying the Grimlock, but that's purely because I seem to be incapable of not buying anything Grimlock related.
Oh my god! I thought Mikey had left the show. Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm doing better. Honest. But no, I mean, they're a fun thing for what they are. I mean, the fact that they're that small and they're that articulated just is bonkers. But they're just going to go missing everywhere. God help you.
Yeah, it feel to me. I think I'd lose them. They're not for me. I'd be interested to see what people think of them when they eventually get them. But yeah, I can not talk about those.
Actually, anymore. Yes, I would like to see what people make them in hand, because Because it's all good seeing these digital versions, but let's see some proper painted ones in hand and see what people make of those.
Next, we've got 01 Studios. We've got 01 SO1E Overmind, which is Energon Decoed Unicron, and the S1 SO2 Seed, which is Primus. Now, we've seen the Unicron before, but this is just the third or fourth repaint of the mold. But this, like I say, is into Energon
That's
colors.
a very striking paint job they've given him.
Yeah,
the robot mode.
Energon had a really cool color scheme.
Yeah. That's quite nice looking. I mean, if you've not been able to get if you weren't able to get the HasLab version.
Oh, this is better than the HasLab. 100%. And it's cheaper.
And don't have an Armada version. I think, What do these normally go for, these guys?
These ones. I think these ones are about £300, something like that.
That's not bad. I mean, they're both blinking huge.
It's what you would expect. You know, these are big figures. They're not as big as the HasLab one, but they are big. They're very, very detailed kind of transformation and all that kind of jazz. Very detailed.
Are they bigger than Titan size?
No, I don't think they're bigger than Titan size. I can't remember offhand. It's been a while since I've seen. I think it was Jobby that did the review on him, but I don't think he's that big. No. He's bigger than a leader, but he's not as big as a Titan. You know, he's not going to be towering over Fort Max. I don't think. I could be wrong though.
I mean, I'm just looking at the pics of Primus, and my word, the amount of engineering in this thing is. I'm impressed.
Yeah, me and Mikey talked about the uncolored prototype versions of Primus. I wasn't too sold on his design, and still I'm not. I'm not a big fan of the color scheme, generally.
Well, it's very much the Don Figueroa design from the old Ultimate Guide.
That's right, yeah.
Which was kind of the inspiration for the Cybertron Primus figure, but it compromised. This is that design with no compromise whatsoever.
Yeah, I think my issue is he looks a bit too much Optimus Prime-y. I think that's my problem with it. Color placement as well, red chest, kind of silver abdomen, blue waist area. Feels a little bit too stereotypical
Optimus.
Prime colors. Yeah, pretty much. Which is why the Cybertron version had a bit more of an interesting design. It looked old as well because of the way they molded the face. This is a very young looking Transformer. Like I think Unicron looks older because it's got like the slightly sculpted beard and slightly sculpted mustache. While this is just
have they given you a choice of heads? Because it looks like there's a separate head. Is that Alpha Trion forms for head, or is that does he just not do anything?
There is an Alpha Trion there.
There's another head design with a different style of helmet that it's a little more, not so much age, but a little more weary, shall we say?
Yeah, I think that head looks a little bit better. I still have issue with the color scheme, but yeah, I think that head works a little bit better. I think I prefer the. Yeah, it's less Optimus Prime designed. It's more of its own thing.
It's got a bit more of the hot rod about it that was in the original Primus design back in the day.
That's true. Are we assuming that Alpha Trion is maybe not a quote-unquote headmaster, but more of a brain master, because the same kind of idea. Like he doesn't form the head, but he forms the face and then has the helmet go over the top of him. Possibly,
because the head that's in most of the pictures is very distinct in its own right. You don't have there's no real... You can clearly remove top of the head to fit batteries for the lighting effect, but otherwise it's very much a single piece, whereas the other one, I mean, they don't really show you much of what Trion does.
No, and it's very specific angles of Trion, mainly from the front. It doesn't really show you what's going on behind him. I think he might form a sort of headmaster. I think he folds up, which is why he has those knees.
Yeah, I mean, that's fun. That's a nice bit of functionality that they didn't have to put in there. I'm down for that.
I mean, sure, give us a tiny Alpha Trion that forms kind of a headmaster, brainmaster Primus. Yeah, sure, why not? It's neat. And gives us the better head too. I'm down with that. Yeah, but as an overall design, don't love it, but I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. I think the Unicron's better. I think this might do better as well if it's done in different colors. I think that might me appreciate it a little bit more. But yeah,
possibly one that was repainted in the Cybertron colors, so much more blue.
Maybe
in the chest,
more blue and white. I think the white then dark, kind of this gray blue. Like they've tried. I think the gray blue is fine for the surface of the planet, but I wish his limbs weren't that color. Yeah, because like his abdomen region and his face are like this grayish blue. His groin area is a darkish blue, not gray, but darkish blue. Same for his biceps and hands. I wish there was a bit more of a distinction, like instead of the grayish blue for his abdomen and his like thighs, it was and
I
face
just realized
was a
what it
different
is.
color.
And I should have known better because of what chapter I paint more than anything else of. It's fucking Space Wolf Grey.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Space Wolf Grey. That's a lot of Space Wolf Grey. Would you paint Space Wolf Grey with like blue next to it? Because I wouldn't.
I've tried to avoid it wherever I can, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a reason for that because I think it could look better. And I think that again, if you change those bits to surface of the planet, fine. Don't mind that. I think that works. That's 100% okay. I just think it doesn't work for the main robot body. Change that.
Yeah.
Would be dandy. Yeah.
I mean, I can see them getting 2 repaints out of this. One
Cybertron
as
one.
the Cybertron paint scheme.
Yeah.
And the other one's a bit of an odd one, which just occurred to me. They do it in the whole planet in the gold that it gets at the end of.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. At the end of Rebirth.
Yeah, the golden age of Cybertron. The literal golden age of Cybertron.
Yeah.
We meant it literally. Okay, sure.
Unless you're in Japan where it lasted like a fortnight.
That's true. Yeah, before Headmasters kicked off. Whoops.
And they blew the planet up and Prime and again.
That was a weird show. Next up, we have Iron Factory. Iron Factory, we've seen most of the stuff before where we see colored versions of the prototypes who we've usually seen, which is the IFEX 72 Chaos Blaze, which is the Fallen, and the EX73 Enki, which is Samurai Sideswipe. So, me and Mikey like the look of this Fallen before. Now we see it colored. It looks really cool. Really neat.
I mean,
one of the best Fallen designs, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm digging all the translucent flame effects. They look really tasty on top of that black and purple color scheme.
Yeah.
The sword is a beastie boy.
Yeah, it's huge. That sword is a Monster Hunter sword.
Yeah.
From the game.
He's not messing around.
No. I'm trying to figure. I'm guessing the hilt of that becomes the turret for the weird tank mode, right?
Yeah, because you can see the tank barrel basically running down the length of the sword.
Yeah, I'm guessing with the sword part, you just kind of take that off and throw it in a bits box, because that doesn't seem to be on the tank mode at all, for obvious reasons. I like the fact that the tank mode can still be on fire. That's fun.
Yes.
They didn't get rid of that. It's just like, nope, he's always on fire. It's very
he's got a brand. He's got to stick to it.
Yeah.
He's a Fallen. He's on fire.
It's just how it is. I like this a lot. I think the purple highlight is quite nice. They could have chose a different color to make him pop, but I think the purple's appropriate enough. I think the redesigned head to be basically the Fallen's head, but with the Galvatron crown is quite fun as well. Yeah, I like it. It's neat.
Yeah, and the orange in all the recessed areas is nice and bright, and which is not an easy thing to do with orange over black, but it's a nice scheme. I wouldn't have thought to put purple on a Fallen figure, to be fair, because I'm so used to being either black or like a burnished metal color. Yeah,
he's usually just black with the fire, and that's it. I think the purple adds a decent amount, which is nice.
Helps break him up, which is nice.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. I think the tank mode's a little underwhelming. Like, it doesn't look like the most threatening tank. I like the fire effects, as I mentioned before. I think it needed a different turret design to make it stand out. Maybe you can add stuff to the turret to make it a bit more intimidating.
I mean, honestly, I'd have left the sword blade in there, to be fair.
Yeah, it might...
Have the thing down the middle as the barrel itself and because then the sword blade is just what he smacks people with as they get too close.
Maybe you could do that. Yeah, maybe he doesn't have a cannon. Maybe, like you say, he just like swings his turret around with a giant sword on and cuts people's shins off. I'd be okay with that. I think the fire effects will get in the way of the turret as well. So as long as they're removable,
it wouldn't surprise me if they're detachable.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They have to be, because otherwise they'll be snapping off every 5 minutes. But they look nice. They've got some nice paintwork themselves going on with how they go. Because it's not always common to see paint effects that, flame effects that have been painted to that extent.
Is it paint effects or is it mold effect? Because it doesn't look like it's painted, because it looks all translucent.
Actually, no. That's.
I think they use two different colored plastics, because it looks like it goes from like yellowy up to the tips of a translucent red.
Yeah, no, you're right on that score. It looks like it is different shades of translucent in the flame effects, which again is a nice touch.
Yeah, it actually makes it look like fire rather than just orange translucent plastic. Yeah. Unless this is an effective, done post or with the camera, which I'd hope that it isn't the case. Could be.
You'd hope not.
Yeah. And then the sideswipe, Enki, the samurai version of Prowl. More ninja in all honesty, to be honest, with those weapons, with the neat designs. What do you think of Enki?
I mean, it's a sideswipe.
Yes.
It's a classic sideswipe looking design with a bit more of a samurai feel to it, which that act that Iron Factory have gone for with this subwave, shall we say? Not my thing, but it works quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good. I like the spears he's got. They're quite funky. And that's a really nice alt mode.
Yeah.
That's such a nice alt mode. And the thing is, they did do a really nice version of Sideswipe and Sunstreaker before. Much more like their classic designs. So, and this doesn't look like that. Is clearly fresh engineering, fresh tooling. And they thought about it. They've gone, all right, let's make Sideswipe with this aesthetic. And it works. If you're collecting this subline or you want a Legend Sideswipe, which that's a little bit different in flavor, here you go. And it's Iron Factory. I know they have had missteps, but personally, I've never handled a bad Iron Factory figure.
Same. I've got 3, and I've enjoyed all of them.
Yeah, they're always fun to mess around with, well engineered, and you're not worried you're going to be breaking it all the time.
Do you have the Scorponok?
I wish I did. I got the first 2 guys they did to go with Metroplex.
Oh yeah, geez, yeah, wow.
Which are they're really fun to mess around with, honestly. I've got their Jetfire.
Okay.
Their Wheeljack, Cliff Jumper, and I think I've got a Hound.
Okay. All
I
right.
got those off a friend of mine.
Yeah, I've got the Overlord, I've got the RC and the Windblade.
Ooh, they're nice.
The Overlord's really good.
I do want to get their Slipstream.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that one because the head was weird on it. That's why I didn't get that one in the end. It was a strange head.
But I keep seeing her AliExpress for under £20, and I might pull the trigger this month.
Is it actually a legit Iron Factory, or is it like a knockoff?
Well, the seller is one that I've bought from before, and it's been legit before, so
okay.
I'm willing to take a chance. And if it's not, it's still like less
£20.
Yeah.
Do you want me to ruin this design for you? This sideswipe.
Oh, go on.
All right, look at his knee, right? Do you see 2 eyes and a happy smiley face? And the grey bit's like his little hair. You see it now, don't you?
Andy, we're going to have a fucking problem next time if we ever meet up. You do realise this.
And if you look at the other angle, where it's there, because the light's catching on a little bit of just between the mouth and the eyes, that's its nose. Got little faces on his knees.
Why are you like this?
I don't know. I saw it just a few seconds ago.
What's wrong with you?
I saw this like a few seconds ago and went, oh, it's a little face. Everybody must see this.
Can you not let us have nice things
no,
for 5 minutes?
You must see the little faces in Sideswipe's knees forevermore. Everybody must see his ninja knees. They talk to him while he fights.
That is legitimately funny, though. That's a really unfortunate bit of sculpting design there.
It's so strange because it
legit
looks like a face.
You just can't unsee it.
Yeah, it's such a happy face as well. It's just, hey.
Oh.
It feels like something I've seen before back when I was a kid in the 90s, but I don't know where from.
Oh, yeah, I do know. I know what you mean.
I mean? It feels like something from like a video game or a cartoon, or a weird fucking strange advert for something. It's something.
Well, let's be honest. British TV and for kids' TV in the 80s and 90s was a very deeply weird place to be.
Yeah, it was great. Especially advertising. Advertising was so interesting back then. So much fun.
But not even the shows. The bits in between the shows.
Yeah, the adverts. Yeah, 100%.
No, not the adverts. Things like the Broom Cupboard and the Saturday morning shows that held everything together.
Oh, those ones. Those were weird. Yeah.
Yes, it was. If you're in the state, if you didn't live in the UK at that point, you have no idea what we're talking about.
No. Just like a filler show. They just went, we'll make a little thing to stick in here between the actual entertainment. That'll do. Boom.
But sometimes they got really, really involved with it, and there are puppets that became quite famous off of these things.
Yeah.
And one of them introduced everyone to John Barrowman, so we have that to thank them for.
Aye, it's true. Magic Square is next, and it is the Chibi Optimus Prime, who we've talked about before. There's no new images here, so we are just we're gonna jump past that to New Age, where they've got the H49 Hammond, which is Wheeljack, who we've talked about before. Talked about him last week, actually.
I'm not sure if I love that name or not.
There's the H57C Freya, which is Swoop. A certain Swoop. There's the H57B Turok, I think it's called. Turok, which is another Swoop. And the H61 Triton, which is Sea Spray. So we'll leave off Wheeljack.
Okay.
We'll talk about the repaints of Swoop. The first one, Freya, is, I guess, the comic version, I think. Is that right?
Hang on. Because the comic was always had the red colouring to it.
That's what I thought. So we got that version, and then the Turok version. I don't know what this is referencing, but it's really fucking cool. What do you think of these two repaints of Swoop then, comic-wise? I'm assuming you're just like, it's fine, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's Swoop in comic form.
Yeah, it's all right.
And it's a nice-looking Swoop as well. The Turok, I recognise quite a lot of the design elements, not from Swoop, but I get what they're referencing, and I can't bloody place it.
It's not the giant claw, unfortunately, which it should be. They should have referenced the monster from the classic film, The Giant Claw. They almost do it, because they've got like a movie-grained, desaturated photo, which feels like they almost went for it, but they didn't have the balls to go all in and do the giant claw. Shame on you.
I mean, they give him a different head crest as well.
Yeah, the head's completely different. I actually thought he had a visor, but it's not. It's just like a little beak thing going over most of the top of his head, giving him a big old forehead. But I like it. It's
I just worked out what it is.
What is it?
I'm getting vibes of not Deathsaurus, but from the Breast Force, Leozak.
Really?
Is that what I'm getting? There's something of the face design. There's something about
the face design is very kind of Japanese 90s era animation for G1. I would agree with that. It looks like a stereotypical super robot villain kind of deal. Is it maybe a reference to the Brave robots? You remember how Ex-Kaiser fought Dino Geists and all those guys? Is it one of them? Is that what it's alluding to? The Geists?
Possibly.
Wish I knew the Geist a bit more.
I mean, actually, no, the faces give me a little bit of Deathsaurus without the helmet area. The actual visor and the color of the face is giving me Deathsaurus vibes. The color palette, though, I'm actually getting not Machine Wars, Beast Machines. Not Thrust. The Fly in general, the one that was. I've forgotten his name.
It's not based on Ex Kaiser. The swoop version was purple and black in there. I was sure it was gonna be. Never mind.
No, but I'm trying to think. Beast Machines. What were the three generals? You had Thrust,
Striker, Obsidian.
Striker and Obsidian came later, but you had the first three. There was
Thrust,
Tankor,
Jetstorm.
Thrust, Jetstorm.
No, it doesn't look like Jetstorm.
The color scheme reminds me a bit of Jetstorm.
It's nothing like Jetstorm. Jetstorm was blue.
Fuck, he was, yeah.
Either way, I think this guy looks good.
Now. It's a very cool recolor.
Yeah.
I dig it, but god damn it, it's gonna be bugging me for the rest of the night what that color scheme is based on. If it's based on anything, it might not be.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. But either way,
they could just gone for something that's cool. And they're right, it's very cool.
I think it is a reference to something, but I'm not sure what. Triton is just CG image at the moment of a very, very small sea spray. He looks okay, but he's just a very small sea spray, so yeah.
Yeah, it's just sea spray.
Yeah,
that looks like sea spray.
Yeah. Then Non-F come along with their 3-inch modular figure line. And also a sludge conversion kit. So the modular figure line seems to be including Battle Beasts. They were talking about Dino Riders and Exoforce stuff as well.
Yeah, I saw these pictures earlier on. Was it late yesterday, early today? And the comments were basically lots of like-minded people creaming themselves.
Yeah, I don't. For me, they're not cream worthy. I think they're a really neat idea, and it's nice to see these storylines that have nothing get something. They're not quite for me. They're apparently 3mm pegs for full modularity, 27 points of articulation, and $10 per figure, and multiple sublines. I don't think these look amazing. I think they look interesting, but they look like a lower end third party project, which seems to be what they are.
Yeah, I want to see them painted. I mean.
Yes, that'll help.
But, I mean, to be fair, a lot of those figures, the non-Battle Beast ones, I'm getting major Target Master vibes off of.
The ones in the front, I would agree. Yeah.
I mean, if you were to give me a bunch of those that turned into a very familiar set of weapons for a certain bunch of Autobots and Decepticons, I'd be a very happy individual.
Oh, I think you'd be pushed for these to transform. I think these will just be posable action figures. Unfortunately.
But, I mean, if they did a set that was coloured like those Target Masters, I'll take a full set, please.
I think the most interesting thing is just giving you the option to have these 3-inch figures that are posable for Dino Riders and whatnot, which had very, very kind of iffy figures to begin with. In all honesty,
Well, I mean, Dino Riders and Exoforce and Starcom were all very much of a time when they came out when G.I. Joe was in ascendant, frankly, and they tried to do something different with a smaller size figure.
Yeah, what were they? 2.5 millimeters or something like that.
2.5, 3 mil, something like that. They were a lot smaller than 3.25 inch. That was right. The standard as G.I. Joe and Star Wars had established by that point. And to be fair, that was because they were trying to offer you these bigger play sets as well. I mean, at the same time, you had Sky Commanders did the same sort of thing with a much smaller figure size than the traditional G.I. Joe size.
Yeah.
And I get what they were trying to give you the playset experience with a smaller size figure, because if you tried to do the figures them to use with 3.75 inch figures, they would have been ruinously expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a fair point. That's a fair thing for why they went for that scale. But because they weren't that larger scale that people were more familiar with, it meant that people couldn't do much with them, and that was not being funny, but that's a big thing at the time that you wanted. People had big G.I. Joe collections. It was at that time Transformers had kind of declined, and G.I. Joe was kind of filled its slot for a few more years. And if you're trying to convince people to buy into a whole new line, if there's no chance for it to work with what most kids already had, well, it's a big ask, especially as some of these, they weren't exactly cheap. I mean, the cheapest ones were just for basic figures that came with some accessories, and if you got them, you couldn't do much more unless you bought the bigger sets, and a lot of parents just weren't willing to buy into that, which is understandable.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I had a few Starcom bits when I was younger, and I always wanted to have some Dino Riders, but not without good reason. My parents wanted me to stay focused on the line that I was committed to. So,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, if you want new versions, 3mm versions of these guys, they'll be available in some form, and looks like at the very least that they'll be fairly cheap and affordable, which is neat. So they're also doing the upgrade kit or conversion kit to turn Slug into paddles. I don't think it looks great, in all honesty. It gives a new dinosaur neck, new dinosaur feet, robot forearms, which we don't see, a new robot head, which we don't see, a new robot chest, which we don't see, and a new weapon, which we don't see. At least here, all we see are the parts that make it into the floppy dinosaur that swims around in the water. And I think it looks a bit floppy. I don't think it looks great, to be honest.
The neck they showed off a few days ago without context that it was intended to turn it into paddles. I thought it was just an upgrade kit.
No, we saw
Sludge.
that it was an upgrade kit just for Sludge.
But
when it says the neck, it means the bit on the back of the head.
Oh, right.
Because the neck is another kit that came out a while ago, like a few weeks ago or something.
See, the neck I'm not sold on for Sludge, but for paddles, that helps make a bit of a difference between the two figures.
Yeah.
I would like to see the rest of the conversion parts. I mean, non-F generally their stuff is
fine.
It's
on the cheaper scale of things. They're usually minor upgrade kits and gap fillers, but they're nothing usually as big as this, so it's a bit more ambitious for them to go this way.
Yeah, and it's an interesting tack to see them try this.
Yeah.
I mean, Paddles is a character who pops back into the consciousness now and again, but I mean, was it Planet X did the first version of him?
Something like that, yeah.
Which was a novel idea, and this is a bit of fun. Yeah. I'm not sure if anyone has access to a spare Sludge at the moment, because those Leader Class Dinobots are hell of a hard to get hold of for the most part.
I would agree. We've got to speed up, though, because I'm coming to the end of time.
Sorry.
So... No, that's fine. I had to start getting this ball rolling because I'm running out of time very quickly.
Sorry.
Fans Hobby are showing off the Marksman, which is the Fuck You Andy toy. They're showing off the double kill, the double evil toy, the Destroyer, the Lernian Beanpole, whatever it is, Purple, Naval Commander, and Blast Team. So the Fuck You Andy toy is the exclusive, the Marksman, who was Talon. Redone version of their Buster or Dreadwing, Darkwing, whatever fucking version it is, with a few extra parts. We saw this a few days ago. We don't really need to talk about that.
Yep.
The new double
lovely G2 colors.
Definitely. Well, yeah, whatever you want to class Predators as, because people get really arsy about where it comes into the generation line. Fuck off.
Yeah.
No one cares. Double Evil A is a toy-colored version of their previous release of Overlord, so they've got a side-by-side, so it's Overlord, but brighter. Yeah, it's like, okay.
Ish.
That's fine. Nothing really else to say there. It doesn't look like it comes with... Oh, no, it looks like it comes with extra faces.
You get some extra bits for... So, new faces.
Yeah, and 2 extra Godmasters? I don't know what they're saying there.
So if you want to, you got a choice of psychotic smiles. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it says 2 times
That
new
checks.
power pilots and 2 times new optional faces. I'm not sure what it means by the power pilots. New accessories for the yeah, it just says the. Maybe they're fake parts to go in the chest.
I think they are actually. Because did they?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what those are.
Oh wait, no,
doesn't really
it does
explain them.
show 2 extras. You get 2 sets of the Power Masters.
Yeah, the Godmasters, but I don't know what the difference is. That's the point. I'm
Looks
making.
like one set is anime colored, the other one isn't.
Oh,
which is interesting.
a little bit hard to tell. They show off the base mode, and then they show off the base mode with everybody kind of dancing around, having a good old time. The naval commander is Purple Armada Optimus Prime, so if you want to Shattered Glass Optimus Prime, then there you go. It's an option. They also show the blaster team, which is the Requiem Blaster. We only see it in blaster mode, and we don't see it in any other kind of mode, unfortunately. So
probably the best.
Requiem's fine. I don't. It's not the best, but it's fine. Whatever. X-Transbots show off the Shattered Dante, the Panda Racer type Bond and James. 26P and 26Y, so it's just alternate versions of different colored versions of each. Then there's the 26W and 26R, which are the racer types, other racer types. Then there's the 43 Teardown, the 44 Gravedigger, the 46 Big Load, the 47 Ron Weasley, and the 41. And then it's got a dash, and I don't think it means 41 to 46. Contract on the creator. I don't know what the fuck that means. Okay, Dante is I think, again, we've talked about this before, repainted Shattered Glass version of Inferno.
Yep.
Dark green one, okay. The new racing cars, I do not recognize these guys. Are they... Oh, it's Punch Counterpunch.
Yep.
I mean, stupid.
They found a way to milk that mold.
I don't... Yeah, okay. Yeah, do it in race car colors. What do you think of that? It looks a bit weird.
Yeah, it's fine, I guess.
I'm not sure it works for Punch Counterpunch. The colors spread on both of them look a bit on the weird side.
Yeah, and it's like, does anyone really want that many versions of Punch Counterpunch?
I guess if you really like this kind of car and you really like racing the car modes more than... Because I think the cars with the details on them look nice. I don't think it transfers over well to the robot modes at all, but...
Yeah.
4 versions. That's extreme.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They must have spent a lot of engineering on that mold to try.
I guess, yeah, to milk it this hard. Jesus.
And are we really still doing Structicons in
well,
2023?
These guys haven't done them, so we've got Long Hook, which is Teardown. We see him in a few poses. I think these are all CG renders as well. Yeah, they are. Gravedigger, which is Scavenger.
Yeah.
And
Big Load seems to be an actual physical figure.
Yeah, he's real. Long Haul is real. He exists.
He looks fine.
I've never been a big fan of the X-Transbots look of figures myself, but yeah, it's more Constructicons. Fucking hell, the Constructicons. I want the Constructicons to go away because I'm sick of them. Can we have the animated Constructicons? All 2 of them? That would be interesting, at least. Is that all there? I think that's all. That's all of those guys from X-Transbots, which I couldn't care less about. I can't tell. They've got an image of the back of a Megatron and then some very small cars. Which I have no idea what that's about. Then Ron, which is the back of an Ironhide figure for some reason.
And the team Contractrons.
What a name, Contractrons. Yeah, in grey prototypes. It doesn't say when they're coming out. That's a Desecrator. That's the name I couldn't read before. That's not a bad name for a Devastator.
That's a fun name.
Don't think it looks great compared to other third-party Devastators in the past, in all honesty. Don't think it looks amazing.
No. I mean, he's 52 centimeters tall. That's...
They had to make it sound more interesting than that. They had to say 522 millimeters. What?
I mean,
Millimeters.
I don't think that's as big as Legacy Menasor, to be honest.
I wouldn't know.
I think he's...
Just say inches. Just do
I'd measure him, but
inches.
he's in a box.
Good Lord, why?
Yeah.
Bigger numbers are better. It seems like this guy has 6 different heads for some ungodly reason. Some of them I recognize. I recognize the bottom ones because they're some of the different versions of the animation model.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have all the animation errors.
Yeah.
You have all
versions.
the IDW versions.
Is that what the ones on the far right are?
I think they're both versions of the IDW design.
They are ugly. The second one on the top row is obviously the toy.
The toy.
I don't know what... What's the first one?
Is that an Insecticon head?
I don't think so.
Or is that a Scorpion? No, that's a Scorponok head.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, I can see why you say Scorponok. I don't know what it's meant to be a reference to, but it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's too much Devastator.
It is.
No one needs that many options.
I guess it's good that you have options, but Jesus, do you really need to do every version of the G1 animation head?
Exactly. I mean, if you're doing Devastator, pick an option.
It's fine. Yeah, just do the first 2. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay. The first 2 on the bottom row for the animation one and the toy head. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. That's more than most people have done.
Yeah, that's okay. It's whatever. Fans Toys.
And relax.
Fans Toys are doing the RP-01C and the RP-02 tapes. So that is... that's Overkill. That's Slugfest. That is the
drone.
The shit drone. I don't know why we keep making the drone. And then we have Buzzsaw, whatever. I think the important ones are Slugfest and Overkill because they're the ones that never get any love, and I think they're the cooler ones, in all honesty. How do you think they've been done here? Do you like them?
I do like them. I think the fact that, they both have articulated necks is a novelty.
That is nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Slugfest doesn't.
Well, his head turns.
Oh, no, it does. You're right, yeah.
It rotates, I should say, as opposed to turns, but that's more than he normally gets.
I think that might actually... I think the thing you could point out is he has a tail swish, so he can swish his tail left and right. That's cute. That's fun. Overkill can't do that. He can swish his tail up and down, but not left and right.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I do kind of like how Buzzsaw looks.
It's Laserbeak, but yellow. It's fine.
Yeah.
I never get excited for Buzzsaw because we've already seen Laserbeak, so it's yellow Laserbeak. It's
yeah. Sound blaster with everyone, and
I mean,
that looks nice.
Also, I won't ever say I'm very excited to see the drone.
No, that's like, we have to do the tapes as 2 packs. All right, who have we got left to do? We've got an odd number. Bring out the drone.
Bring out the crap. If they made the drone and then gave it a load of crazy guns like chainsaws and missile launchers on the side of it, at least I go, well, that's neat. You're trying to do something with it. Not just give him the claw to pick up the crystal that explodes and kills him instantly.
Yeah.
What is your purpose? Your purpose is to die picking up a crystal. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is your purpose.
And you got Sound Blaster and Ratbat, who...
The Ratbat looks really good. Sound Blaster is just Soundwave but black, whatever. Ratbat, I think it's the first time we've seen that. That looks really good. That looks great.
Yeah. What more do you need?
Yeah, posable, does everything you'd want from a little bat robot. They showed 2 different sound blasters. I'm guessing these are
extra bits you can swap out.
Yeah,
maybe?
So you can turn them into the toy version with the yellow eyes and the slightly different chest.
Okay.
And different knees and different shins. So I wouldn't say buy the figure twice, but at least some option. Oh, different shoulders too. Just noticed that. Yeah. It's fine.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then they show off the FT32A, and just to be unique, it's Scavenger from the Constructicons again.
Good God.
From the front, I think he looks okay. His vehicle mode,
I mean, there's some nice articulation of the leg in leg mode.
Oh, I didn't even look at that. Yes. Yeah, the leg looks good, I guess, for a leg.
which is
munch on.
damning with faint praise, possibly.
Yeah,
But,
I'll tell you the thing I really don't like about him is the scrapper. At least is the back shot. I think we get to see him from behind, and he looks a bit. Yeah. There's a shot behind him, and he's got quite a lot of stuff hanging off of his back. Not just the shovel, but he's also got the little canopy, which is basically a butt flap. Looks a bit ugly.
Yeah.
Again, I can't get excited for another fucking Devastator. Please stop. Please.
Yeah.
Anything else? There are a lot more Transformers out there than Constructicons.
Right, let's go on to Mastermind.
Mastermind Creations are doing the RMX Vivisection. It doesn't say that, but we're running through these quickly.
Vivace.
Sure, we'll go with that. The RMX 17 LTO, the PS23 Igneous / Maximus Pro, the PS21A Medicus with new weapons and head, the 25A Navigate with new weapons and head, and the PS28 Deletus / Destructor. So the first one is the convention exclusive. It's Steeljaw in Black
Lion from Voltron.
Yeah. It's fine.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I like that. It's what a con exclusive should be. It's just fun.
And it's not too expensive either, because it'll be a cassette.
No. Yeah.
It looks good. Looks solid. It's a decent con exclusive. I would say not as good as the Fuck You Andy toy, but much better than the Slipstream toy.
Yes. You got Ratbat.
Ratbat.
It's a Ratbat.
Well, it's CG, so it's hard to tell how good it is. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then basically we're on to the untested, the unpainted prototype shots of Defensor. So we got Hotspot. He looks really good, actually. I mean, all of the Ocular Max stuff.
Ocular Max is if I was doing Masterpiece, because I have quite a bit of Mastermind's reformatted stuff. They're IDW tie-ins, which I like. If I was a Masterpiece collector, I'd have gone in on Ocular Max, because their stuff's 100%. Always, it's not overly expensive to my mind. It looks good. Their designers have clearly understood the brief that they're going for, and my God, these protector bots look good.
Yeah, I think everything coming out of Ocular Max is always looking pretty top tier. I haven't seen anything from Ocular Max where I'm just like, ugh, it looks kind of mid. All of their stuff, like even the protector bots, and the protector bots are kind of boring. Let's be honest.
I can hold my hands with it. They were my first full combiner team. They were I've got a soft spot for them, but even I can admit, they're kind of there.
Compared to a lot of them,
they're the other team.
Yeah, I mean, better than the aerial bots, 100%. But still, these look really good. These still look great. We see images of Defensor missing an arm, with only first aid colored, and two. Two
Streetwisers for legs.
Two Streetwisers for the legs, but the combined mode looks really good.
Yeah,
that's a really good guy.
I mean, Hotspot as the body that's a nice, solid looking body.
Yeah, it really is.
And then the way that Sideswipe folds up into a foot.
Sideswipe.
Sorry.
Streetwise.
Sorry,
you confused me for a second. I was like, what?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, that looks nice and chunky. I don't know if that's a separate piece that plugs in the back of the bottom of the car. It might be, but that looks nice the way that foot goes together.
Yeah, it must be a separate piece. There'll probably be like a black hinge that it clips to, just to connect everything together. It looks like these are full Scramble City Combiner toys as well, because there's an image with Blastoff on his arm, which is neat. That's really cool if that's the case.
It's very cool, because, I mean, this is their second Scramble City team. Yeah.
So I mean, you're probably not going to be able... You could probably do it with the arms. You probably can't do it with the legs. I mean, Blastoff is not going to be a leg, obviously, I would imagine. But the fact that you can swap the arms and even do this, that's neat. Yeah. I appreciate that.
I mean, it does look like they've tried to give each character of their classic spot in the combined mode.
Yeah.
Which you can appreciate. And you know what? I'll even give him a pass for doing a Devastator, because at least it looks nice and crisp and solid.
I don't think it is, but the Streetwise looks like he's been left out in the sun too long. You know, it's that color to him.
Yeah, but I think that's intentional.
It's definitely intentional. But you and I have both seen toys that have been left in the sun too long, and it looks like
yes,
it might be intentional, but he looks like he's been on that shelf on a kid's shelf for too long. And the original color scheme was the silver door.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
It's fine, but it's silly to notice it. Oh fuck!
And then here's Scrapper.
Scrapper, fuck's sake! Piss off, Scrapper. Looks better than the other one.
He doesn't have. I was going to say he doesn't have his butt flap.
He doesn't. It's actually hidden away.
Yeah,
they've stored it away, or they pulled it off.
I think it collapses. Yeah.
Yeah, it does something.
So they've actually engineered it properly.
Yep. Devastator. They show off a Devastator. A CG image, obviously, and then they show 3 of the guys. I kind of wish they'd do Abominus. That'd be a bit more interesting than doing the most standard basic boys. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. And that's it. That's all of the goo. We did it, Big D.
That was a bit of a last-minute dash.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We kind of have to finish up quickly, as I need to finish off work for the evening.
My fault. I was rather getting into my flow places, shall we say.
No, it's fine. It's. I should have expected it. We should have started sooner, or I should have just ignored some of the other stories and just pushed us on a little bit faster.
Or ignored my question. Need company.
So yeah, thanks everybody for coming on by. Like I said, we're gonna have to literally end it here because we've gone a little bit long. Yeah, I'm sorry, Orange, you have missed the show, but you can watch the VOD once the show ends on YouTube or on Twitch, I suppose. Or you can listen to the podcast when I upload it tomorrow. Big D, where can people find you on the internet? You can tell it's a quick one because there was no lead out from the panel. Don't question it.
I am everywhere on all the socials as David. That's DAWFYDD. You can't miss me because I use covers my picture everywhere. And I write occasionally for UKAnime.net. And I contribute in some small way to the Fluff and Hammer when I can. And I run the Watch Along channel. We're doing a Halloween special this weekend. Come join us. Yeah.
What's on the program?
Ooh, lots of things. Hang on.
Name 3.
We are doing Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh my God. Okay.
Roast Watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Last Voyage of the Demeter.
All right. Some interesting choices there. All right.
Yes.
Is that it, or can people find you in other places as well?
No, that's it. If you look for my name on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Sky Blue, and all the other places, you'll find me. Nice. If it's got a picture of a slightly angry robot with a cigar in his face, it's probably me.
Cool.
Come and say hi. I don't bite.
You can find me on Twitter as Decayed Andy, on YouTube as Decayed Andy, Rotten Corpse of a Human Being. That's me. Hello. You can find me on the Moonbase 2 podcast. Obviously, I'm here right now. We're on the Moonbase 2 YouTube channel, Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. We're on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, and patreon.com/Moonbase2. If you want to help out the show, it's always much appreciated. I think that's everything. But like I say, I am in a rush, so I have to end the show right now. Thanks, everybody, for coming on by. And thank you, Big D, of course, for coming on once again and talking with me.
More than welcome. Thanks for having me.
And we will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.